Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is a story about what if Deku had a harem with all the girls part 1. If you guys enjoy this what if and want to see part 2, comment down below and let me know before I start. Please do support for more awesome content and leave a like, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel and also share this video with your friends and check out the description in my playlist. The author of the story 𝗧𝗜𝗧𝗟𝗘 from Wattpad. So let's start the video. Third person POV. It all started when a baby girl was born in China with an ability to produce a light from her body. After this incident, women around the world started to produce strange powers that varied from person to person. Unfortunately, the amount of men in the world dwindled because of this, and the total population in the world barely reaches 2% now. Because of this, many children are born as test tube to counterbalance the drop in gender diversity. The men that are left are used as breeding horses for the most part, and are rarely seen in the world. Some countries have even made laws that force men to create and produce as many offspring with the hopes of adding to the male population. This, though, is not the most seen issue. The bigger issue is controlling quirks and preventing dangers from those who use them for themselves. With this in mind, the government has created a job for those who wish to help any way they can. This job is being a heroine. Our story begins on a late night with Shoya Aizawa, or better known as Eraserhead, doing her nightly patrol in Mustafar. Aizawa POV. The night was pretty quiet for the most part. Nothing too strenuous to make note about. Asterisk crying star. The hell is that? I look into an alley and notice what sounded like crying coming out of it. As a pro hero, I investigated and went into the alleyway. Once deep enough in, I noticed a baby wrapped in a blanket crying for someone's attention. What are you doing here? Don't you know it's dangerous in alleyways? I pick up the child to find any notable things to tell who it is, or if there is any indication of its parents. Once picked up, a small note comes out of the blanket the baby was wrapped in. What do we have here? To anyone that picks this child up. He doesn't have a name and was put here on July 15th in the afternoon. I have no care to raise a male, so I gave him up. If you want him, he's yours. I read the paper and get irritated at how this boy was treated. You didn't want the boy, so you left him in an alley with no regard for his well-being. These people deserve to be shot in the middle of a street, in my opinion. I'm pulled out of my thought by the baby grabbing onto me. Asterisk sigh asterisk, I guess you have nowhere to go, huh? I wonder if Mike or Midnight know how to raise a baby. Questions for later. Right now I need to give you a name. I examine the baby closely to notice he has dark green hair and emerald green eyes when he opened them. Green does seem to suit you, so why not Izuku? The child looks at me with a happy expression on his face. I'll take that as a yes. Let's get you out of here then. And just like that, I would raise Japan's only male. 14 years later, Izuku POV. Beep beep beep. I wake up to the sound of my alarm going off in my room. I don't want to get up yet. I reluctantly hit the alarm and make my way out of bed and to my mom's room. Mom, time to get up. Just let me sleep in, kid. I don't want to get up yet. Common mom, you'll be late for work if you don't get up now. She completely ignores me and goes back to sleep. Fine then, I just won't feed Yami breakfast today. Don't even joke about that. That's animal abuse on majestic cats like him, and you know it. She gets up immediately after I threaten to not feed our cat. Meow. I pick up the said black cat and start heading downstairs. If you want breakfast, come downstairs when you're done getting ready. Fine. I head into the kitchen and grab a thing of cat food for Yami before making breakfast for me and Mom. About 10 minutes after I start, Mom makes it down with her signature yellow sleeping bag in hand. Couldn't you just leave the sleeping bag at home for once? You scare enough people as it is with your threats to expel them. Not happening. Whatever. Here's breakfast. We both start eating before Mom gives me another talk on my future. So have you decided on what you plan to do? I already told you, I'm going to become a hero and pass the entrance exams to UA. She sighs before replying. This wouldn't have anything to do with Katsumi going to UA, does it? Leave Kachin out of this. I'm over her, and she has nothing to do with my dream to be a hero. Then why don't you date other women? I'm sure any girl would want to date the only man in Japan. Asterisk sigh asterisk, I just don't want to date anyone. Besides, It takes away from the training that I need to pass with only the binding cloth. I didn't teach you to use the binding cloth to be a hero, I did it to let you defend yourself. Now I don't like pushing this topic, but the country requires you to make a HRM once you turn 18. So getting as much experience with women will help you understand I know, it'll help me understand how to treat and interact with women when the time comes. I start to get frustrated knowing that mom is right about the law in me. Look, it's not that I'm against the law or anything. But haven't you though that maybe I want more than just that? Maybe I want to help this country and its people in a way other than being its sole source of children. Mom starts to pinch the corners of her nose before I stop her from saying something. You know what, I'm late. I'll see you later, and I'll think about the whole dating thing if it makes you happy. I put my plate in the sink and embrace my mom goodbye before heading out the door. Time skip to homeroom. Okay class, today we're going to have you fill out future career forms. Our teacher walks in with a large stack of papers before throwing them in the air. But who am I kidding, you all want to be heroines anyway. Everyone but me and 𝗧𝗏𝗧𝗟𝗘 start using their quirks. Yes, you all have amazing quirks. But it's still against rules to use them in school. Oi teach, don't lump me in with these extras. They'll be lucky to make sidekicks to some shitty but D-lister heroines. What did you say, Bakugo? Yeah, what makes you so special? Oh yes, it says that Bakugo applied for UA? Wait, doesn't that school have like a 3% entrance rate? No way. With that said, my former childhood friend and now former crush gets her ego rubbed even more than it already was. I aced all the practice tests and destroyed all the mock tests. I'm the only one here with the stuff for UA. I'll be the next #1 hero and surpass even All Might. Oh yeah, Aizawa also applied. And with that, everyone just stared at me before busting out laughing. No way, Izuku Aizawa. He'll be lucky if the school even lets him take the test, haha. 𝗧𝗏𝗧𝗟𝗘 comes over to my desk after hearing this and blows an explosion on top of it. Deku. What makes you think you have the right to steal my spotlight like that? This is exactly why I stopped liking her. She blows up over every little thing. I didn't steal anything from you, 𝗧𝗏𝗧𝗟𝗘. Nobody said it was a rule that only females could enroll in the school. Drop out now. It'll save you the embarrassment of failing the exam. I look at her in the eyes before replying. Make me. Alright, that's enough you two. Aizawa, I suggest you enroll in another school since there's a good chance you'll fail. Of course you would say that to me and step in when I was defending myself. Not like it would be a problem when 𝗧𝗏𝗧𝗟𝗘 blows my DMN desk up and is prepared to kill me or something. I take a minute to calm down before I put my attention back to the teacher. 7 End of school, I start to put my things away, when 𝗧𝗏𝗧𝗟𝗘 comes up to my desk and slams her hand down on it. Oi nerd, we're not done yet? Look, if you have that much of a problem with me going to UA, then that's your issue. As for me, I have better things to do than listen to your rants. I try and grab my notebook, but was stopped by 𝗧𝗏𝗧𝗟𝗘 swiping it herself. Hero analysis, huh? Can you please give it back? I try and reach for it, for 𝗧𝗏𝗧𝗟𝗘 to only use her quirk to damage it to an almost unusable state and throw it out the window. The charring it was one thing, but the throwing it out the window was overkill. I mean it, Deku, drop out of UA now. It'll save you a whole bunch of embarrassment by trying to be more than the breeding horse you are. She starts walking out the door, but stops in the frame. There is a way though for men to get quirks though. I listen closely to what she was about to say. Take a swan dive off the highest building you can, and hope you're born a girl with a quirk in the next life. I start to clench my fist and stare her down. What, you wanna go? I just stand there and look down at the floor. That's what I thought. Now go and be a good little breeding horse and do what you're made to do. She doesn't even see me as a person. I'm ashamed to say that I liked her at a point in time. I wait a minute before heading down to skim what was left of my notebook out of the pond below the classroom. Once I get it, I try and salvage whatever I can before taking the long way home to clear my head a bit. I start to walk down the street with all the girls eyeing and blowing at me. Why can't I just live the way I want to? I just wanted a girl to acknowledge me as who I am, not what I am. I pass a bridge, when I notice a green slime come out of the manhole behind me. So you're that male in this town. I hear you're the only male in the country as well. You'll make a perfect meat shield for my escape. The slime villain charges at me, but I dodge and take my binding cloth out. You picked the wrong time to mess with me. I try and use the binding cloth to wrap the villain up, but it was no use since she was entirely made of slime. Too bad, now you're mine. My BLD started to boil as nothing I could do worked. I started to feel the static go through my hands. What the? I thought you were a man. I was confused at the villain's statement before looking down and noticing actual electricity in my hand. My attention is pulled out when the manhole cover opens again for a face I know all too well. Don't worry, citizens, everything is all right now. Because I am here. All Might. The slime villain goes and tries to attack her, but it does nothing when she hits it with one punch. Texas Smash. The slime villain is exploded into 1,000 pieces before she comes up to me. I stutter to try and get a greeting out. Hello, All Might, and my name is 𝗧𝗧𝗟𝗘𝗧𝗟𝗓. Eraser's little boy. Nice to finally meet you. Haha. Definitely way cooler in person than on TV. All Might picks the scraps of the villain up at breakneck speeds and signs my notebook afterwards. I don't mean to sign and leave, but I have to take this villain to the police station. Farewell, young Aizawa. Wait, All Might. I unintentionally grab her leg while she jumps into the air. Hey, what are you doing? This is extremely dangerous. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do this. I just really need to ask you a question. *Fine, I'll find somewhere to land so you can ask it. We land on a building some feet away from where we were. I let go of All Might and kneel on the ground. Never again do I want to do that. Okay, what was it you wanted to speak about? Please make it quick, I'm a busy lady. Oh yes, sorry. Well, you see, ever since I was little I wanted to be a hero. But because I'm a man and quirkless, nobody believes I can do it. I was so caught up in my own question, I didn't even notice the abnormally large amount of smoke coming off of All Might. Even though they say this, I still want to be a hero to help people. So I want to know, All Might, is there any way a man can be a hero? I look over and see a deflated, almost sickly woman in the presence of where All Might was. What happened to All Might? Believe me when I say, I'm All Might. After saying this, she coughs up an unsettling amount of BL. Look, I can only be in the muscle form you see normally for a total of about 3 hours a day due to an injury I got 5 years ago. She pulls up her shirt a bit to reveal a huge scar on her right side. Disgusting, right? The damage from the injury took most of my stomach and some of my respiratory system. Once I take off the buff form, I look like this for the rest of the day. 5 years ago. Do you mean this was from the battle with toxic sludge? You know your stuff, kid. But no, it wasn't against her. She starts walking to the door before answering my first question. And no, I don't think a male can be a hero. We're put in constant danger on the job, and your main objective is to keep our race alive the best way you can. Even if you weren't a man, I would say you needed a quirk to be one. If you really want to help, be a police officer. They may be looked down on, but they handle transporting the villains that we defeat. I feel my world finally shatter after hearing All Might's answer. It's not wrong to dream, just make sure your dreams are realistic. Once she shuts the door, I fall on my knees realizing that any hope of being a hero was nothing more than a pipe dream. I start to laugh while crying. I should have known. I'm nothing but a man after all, and we're nothing more than a tool for reproduction. I look over to the ledge and remember Kachan's words. If I was reborn a woman, would I have a quirk? Could I fulfill my dream then? I look over the railing to see how far it is from the bottom. Definitely wouldn't survive this. I could end it. I could end it and nobody would care. Life would just continue to go on like I never existed. I could save my mom a lot of future troubles. Kachan wouldn't be bothered by me stealing her spotlight. Nobody in this world would actually care if I did it. I think about what I was about to do, but chicken out at the last minute. Of course you couldn't do it, coward. I head out of the building and wander aimlessly through the town. Subconsciously, I make my way to an incident with a villain. Guess my old habits die strong. I look at the scene with little to no care, only to realize that the villain was the same one from before. Isn't that the same villain All Might was chasing before? Wait, then where is she? I look over and notice that none of the heroines area able to do anything. Why aren't the heroines doing anything? I heard that the villain has a hostage. A hostage? Oh no, somebody is facing this hell because of my own selfishness. I look over to the villain and see a brunette trying her best to pull herself away from the slime villain's clutches. I only see for a moment, but her eyes showed the look of true terror in them. Kid, what are you doing? I don't even realize what I was doing until I noticed that I was running to the villain full force. You again. I dodge an incoming attack and throw my bag in the villain's face to get close enough to pull the slime off the girl as best I could. I'm sorry, I couldn't watch this anymore. All I could see is your face saying that you needed help. I start to smile uncontrollably before I continued. I just couldn't bear to see someone in need go without being saved. The sludge villain tried to attack me again before I could even do anything for the girl. Save the boy, she'll kill him. I immediately feel something hot flow through me. Arg. I look over and notice that the slime villain is on fire, but she wasn't the only one. It feels warm, but it doesn't burn. I take this opportunity to pull the girl out of the slime villain and run to safety. I did it dash, I pass out immediately after I save the girl and take her to the heroines. My last memories before blacking out were Death Arms and Kamui Woods defeating the slime villain. I wake up in a hospital bed with a splitting headache. You're finally up, I see. I look over to see Mom sitting cross-legged in a chair. What happened? It's a long story, but you saved someone and passed out after? I remember back to the incident to realize what happened during it. Mom, something happened when I saved the girl. My body became engulfed in flames, but it didn't hurt. I saw on TV what happened. I also asked them to check you for a quirk. Simply put, you have not one but 2 quirks. Wait, are you sure they didn't make a mistake? They checked it 8 times, each one came back with the same results. As far as the doctor said, you have a telekinetic quirk and an elemental quirk. I just sit there in the bed completely astonished by what my mom just said. Now that that's done, there's someone that wants to say hello to you. Say hello to me. Mom goes outside to motion for someone to come in. But my name's Ochaco Uraraka, and thanks for saving me. The girl I now know as Uraraka comes in and nervously thanks me for what I did. And no problem. I was just doing what was right. I try and sheepishly speak, but I was a little too caught up on how cute she looked. If you're not busy, would you? You don't have to. Are you trying to ask my son out on a date perhaps? Her face goes completely red at the fact this was said. Well, yes. I try and decline since I didn't want to do anything like this before Mom covers my mouth. He would love to. In fact, he would deem it an honor to 𝗧𝗓𝗟𝗘 a pretty girl like yourself anywhere. How about a cafe near here tomorrow afternoon? Here's his contact info. Please call him and tell him when and where you would like to go. With that said, Uraraka left and gave me her contact info in exchange. Mom, why did you do that? A pretty girl just asked you out on a date. You're going to treat her to a nice afternoon tomorrow and try and build a relationship with her. Forget about Katsumi for once, and enjoy an outing with a girl that wants to know you better. *Fine, if it gets you off my back I'll do it. 3-element 𝗧𝗜𝗧𝗟𝗘. Izuku can control any of the 5 base elements of water, earth, fire, air, and lightning. Using this quirk costs him stamina, and the more of the element he uses makes his stamina go down quicker. At the moment, only these 5 elements in their base forms can be used, so no metal or sand can be used. Telekinesis. Izuku can use his mind to levitate objects as heavy as a normal human being as far as 10 feet. He can levitate smaller objects farther, but he gets a headache if he goes farther than this distance. Also, all songs used in this go to their owners. With that said, here's the next chapter. Izuku POV. The next day of school was strangely quiet. Nobody said anything, but looked at me with interest. I already knew at this point though that the video of me using a quirk and saving Uraraka went viral. Deku, how the hell do you have a quirk? You're a man, you shouldn't be able to do anything. If I knew, I would tell you. But doctors did the quirk test on me not once or twice, but several times and got the same answer. As far as I'm concerned, I have a quirk like you. I stare her down right in her face while saying this. You and me, today after school. We'll just see if you really have a quirk. Can't, busy with something else. This wasn't me asking. If you don't show up, I'll find you myself. I get up and look her square in the face with a smirk plastered on mine. I dare you. Okay, everyone to their seats. We both sit down in our seats before we begin class. After school, once school let out, I went straight to the cafe Mom told me to meet Uraraka at. I wait there for a few minutes before the girl comes running to me. Sorry if I kept you waiting. Actually, I just got here not that long ago. We exchange greetings and head inside. We both order some tea and a few pastries to eat before we start a little bit of a conversation. So Aizawa, what's it like being the only boy? It's something, I guess. There's its fair shares of ups and downs, but nothing too much. What about you? How do you feel after yesterday? She puts her one arm up and fist pumps the air with a smile. I couldn't be better, and I've got you to thank for that. We keep talking for a few minutes, until an explosive blonde finds us. So this is what you meant with being busy. Pathetic? You can't even get a decent first girl for you, stupid 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘. Why do you care, 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘? It's not like we're dating or anything like that. So as far as I'm concerned, you're just an annoying onlooker that doesn't know where she stands. What was that? Wanna say that again, nerd? 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘 grabs my shirt and pulls me close to her face. You heard me before, you're an annoying onlooker. She shoves me into the booth we're in before walking away. Don't count this over yet. Once the UA entrance exams start, I'll crush you and prove that you're nothing but a man. You hear me, Deku? She walks away, leaving us both silent. Who is that? Katsumi Bakugo. I call her 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘 since we've known each other since childhood. I actually once liked her enough to have a crush on her. But her ego and hot temper was what drove me off. Uraraka just looks at me before saying anything. Why does she call you Deku? It's an insult. It means worthless, and she uses it for me since men don't have much use in the world from what she thinks. Do you mind if I start calling you Deku? I look at her very confused. Well, it kinda reminds me of the word dikairu, which means you can do anything. Also, I think it's kinda cute. I blush a bit at this sudden statement. Okay, go ahead. 63 We sit there for another hour talking about random things from what we like to eat, to the fact we're both enrolling in UA. Finally, it came time for us to say goodbye. Before we left though, we agreed to do this again. Uraraka left with a smile as bright as anything before walking away. Once she was out of sight, I began heading home and thinking on what 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘 said. She is right. Even though I have a quirk now, that doesn't mean I can pass the entrance exam. I need to get better with them if I want to pass. In my train of thought, I passed 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗏𝗏 Municipal Beach. Once a great tourist attraction, now illegal dumping site. That's it. I'll clean up this beach before the entrance exam. And with that, I ran home to make my planner to manage training, school, cleaning the beach, and the occasional meeting of Uraraka. 5 months later, for the past few months, I've been training non-stop to get ready for the entrance exams for UA. To get a better feel for my quirks, I've been cleaning a beach with great results. That should do it. I put the last of the trash on a truck heading for the dump. I was able to get the almost impossible task done way ahead of schedule and picked up some interesting tricks doing it. When I manipulate lighting, I can move as fast as it when I force it all throughout my body. I can also use my control over earth to make my own body as strong as stone. With a little work, I may even be able to manipulate certain metals. I also worked on training my body as well. For me to use my elemental quirk, I would need to use a lot of my own energy to do so. I've had to learn this lesson the strong way. I also learned that I can pick up about 200 pounds with just my mind. I can't hold it for long of time, however, since it gives me a splitting headache after about a minute of use. Just enough time to go home and shower. I run right home after checking the time to shower and change before I meet Uraraka. I've been meeting with her a lot after the slime villain incident. As of a month ago, we even began officially calling ourselves a couple. I was planning on confessing to her myself, but she beat me to the punch the day I was going to. I run in my house and quickly get ready before bolting to meet her. It took me about 10 minutes to get to where we were going to meet. Once there, I noticed the said brunette run up and embrace my lips. There you are, Deku, how is training? Pretty good, I was able to finish my personal goal of cleaning the beach today. That's amazing. Let's go there next time. I want to see how it looks after you put so much work in it. We start heading inside a karaoke place and continue talking about how our days went so far. Uraraka wasn't exactly happy when she found out 𝗧𝗏𝗧𝗟𝗘 was trying to pick another fight with me today. She wasn't the biggest fan of hers after I've told her some of the things she did to me over the years. Whenever she's brought up, I can see a scowl begin to form on her. She's also not happy that I still call her by her nickname. But I only really do this as a way to tick her off. Wow, it's so cool. Glad to know you like it. I decided to make today's date be karaoke when I found out Uraraka never went to one. From what she told me, her mother struggled raising her growing up. She wants to be a heroine to give her mother an easier life as a way of thanking her for all she's done for her. Let's see, how about this one? Uraraka takes the mic and starts to sing a song she picked. I can't find a female version, so pretend it's Uraraka singing. I listen to Uraraka sing as she has fun doing it. Seeing her smile at this really put my heart at ease. To me, the happiness she has makes me forget everything and just enjoy every moment with her. Okay, Deku, your turn. Alright, I think I got a good idea what I should sing. As I begin to sing, I can see Uraraka start to smile, that big and carefree smile that I love so much. Once we got to the middle of the song, she began to sing the words and clap along to the beat. Once we got to the end, I was tackled by Uraraka running to hug me. That was amazing, Deku. Thanks, how about next we do a duet? And with that, the next hour was filled with us singing and dancing like it was the time of our lives. Sadly, we had to leave after the hour was up. But we were both so content and happy that it didn't matter to us. Once outside, we ran into an unwanted familiar face and her lackeys. What the F are you doing here, Deku? I grab Uraraka and bring her close to my side before answering. Enjoying a date with my girlfriend. Do I need a better reason? I only smirk as she looks at Uraraka and growls. Congratulations, you're officially the first of many women this nerd will have. The thought of the fact she definitely won't be my only girl started to make Uraraka a little sad. Maybe, but she still is my girl. That's something you'll never be. Teach. Why would I want to be one of your 𝗧𝗏𝗧𝗟𝗘? She's cut off by me, producing a small gust of wind cutting her cheek. I dare you to say that again and see what happens. Not only did she make Uraraka feel bad, she also dared insult her by calling her a slut. Both wind and lightning was swirling around me to show that I was not kidding around. Whatever, I'm leaving. It's not worth getting my chances ruined to get into UA just to pick a fight with you. 𝗧𝗏𝗧𝗟𝗘's lackeys follow right behind her, knowing that I'm not one to mess with. Once they leave, I start to calm down and hug Uraraka. I'm sorry about that, you shouldn't have been brought into this. It's fine, Deku, I don't blame you. I look at her and notice that something's weighing on her mind. Don't let her words hurt you. To me, you're my girl and nothing will change that. Thanks, Deku. She smiles and hugs me back, but I could tell she was still worried about something. We start walking home before Uraraka stops abruptly midway. Hey Deku, will you really date other women? ****. Unfortunately, the law doesn't allow me to stay with just one girl. Whether I want to or not, I will have to make a HRM with the intent of producing children. I look her into her eyes before continuing. But trust me when I say, I'd rather just stay with you. She looks down for a minute, then speaks up. Do you mind if I ask a selfish request then? For you, anything. Then would you deep inhale would you please make me your first woman? Time skip to Izuku's home. We both make it inside and are greeted by Yami walking up to us. Hey Yami. Is mom home? Meow. Yami heads into the kitchen in a way to say she wants us to follow her. I enter into the kitchen to see a note on the counter. Dear Izuku, I'll be late coming home tonight. Fend for yourself for dinner tonight. Love, Mom. Peace. If you're going to have Uraraka over, make sure to seal the deal. Why do I feel like she had a part in this? I crumble the note up before Uraraka can read it. Looks like we'll be alone for a while. She starts to blush before I try and talk her out of what we were about to do. You know you don't have to do this if you don't want to. We can just save this for another day when you're ready. She only shakes her head no before speaking. I've made up my mind and I want to make today the day. I'm scared, but I think I won't get another chance like this if we don't do it today. I only sigh before leading her to my room. Lemon warning. I open the door and lead Uraraka inside. So how do you want to start this? I'm a little new to this, so I won't be of much help when it all comes down to it. Did you mind if we embrace first? I nod and begin to do as she says. I take her waist and pull her close to limit our distance before her lips. We start with a simple small compassionate embrace, before going into a more deep and NTMT one. I could feel her warmth come from her mouth as I start to slowly put my tongue inside it. In this moment, Uraraka begins to do the same. Our tongues fought for a good minute before I came out on top and started to make my way into her mouth. I explored the inside of my newly conquered land, and began to enjoy the taste of her sweet saliva for as long as I could. We parted from our embrace, and left multiple strands of saliva connecting between our mouths. Breathe, let's keep going. Uraraka starts to take off her shirt at this point to reveal a hot pink BR. I follow suit, and take off my shirt to reveal my unseen tones 𝗧𝗧𝗟𝗘 and six-pack to her. Uraraka begins to trace her fingers on me and starts to drool a little. So muscular, definitely different than a woman's body. She begins to embrace my titty and slowly make her way down my body, making sure she does not miss tasting every muscle on my torso. Once she got to my she noticed a slight bulge in them. Someone's a little excited. She says this with a bit of a mischievous grin on her face. She takes this opportunity to pull my shorts down and prepares to unleash myself from my own boxers. Once she pulls them down, she's hit in the face by my 14-inch PP and just stares at it. So big. You okay? You're shaking a bit? Yeah, I'm just a little worried. But I'm also a little excited to see what this can do. Come to think of it, the last time my mom saw me, she noted that I was on the bit of the abnormally large side from what books say. Uraraka takes this opportunity to start my tip and it. She begins to put it in her mouth, but was having a little trouble after pushing it in a little past the first few inches. I could feel the inside of her mouth tighten around my head and try to loosen to fit me farther inside. I see her eyes light up as she pulls me out of her mouth to speak. Deku, I've got an idea. Lay on the bed. I do as she says and lay down on my back. Once I get comfy, Uraraka takes off her BR to reveal her bare 𝗧𝗧𝗟𝗘 and puts my PP in between them. She then puts the head back in her mouth and starts rubbing me with her bub and on my tip. Her melons may have been about average C cups, but that didn't mean the sensation didn't feel satisfying to say the least. This goes on for a good few minutes before I start to feel something start to come. Uraraka, I'm getting close. I try and warn her, but she only tries and push me even farther in her mouth. I start to feel the back of her throat as she begins to GG on me hitting it. In the heat of the moment, I grab her head and push myself as far down her throat as I could go and come in it. The feeling of her throat convulsing on my head made the feeling even better than before. I release everything into her and make her stomach inflate a bit from my semen. Once done, I let her go and see her eyes rolled back in her head during the whole ordeal. Sorry Uraraka, it just felt too good. You okay? Why I'm burp. She immediately covers her mouth, completely embarrassed that she just burped from being completely filled by myosin. What's so funny? Sorry, I just didn't think you would do that. She just sighs and looks down at her inflated stomach. I wonder if I'll look like this when I really am 𝗧𝗟𝗟𝗘. We both stop and realize what she just said. I begin to pull her in for another embrace before making my way to her skirt. I unzip it and pull it down to reveal a matching hot pink pair of underwear for her BR. I begin to pull it off to reveal her completely naked body. I lay her down on her back before putting my head down to her lower half. I start to pull her open a bit with my fingers and lick her. She starts to hold back a few until I begin to stick my tongue inside of her moist cavern. Once I do this, she begins to let her voice of pleasure reveal itself. I push my tongue in as deep as it can and lick every crevice I physically could. Deku, stop. I'm gonna. She tries to warn me, but starts to lose her mind to pleasure and just on me with no restraint. Once she finishes, I take my tongue out and wipe my face a bit. I reposition myself and place my lower body in front of hers. You sure you want to go through with this? We can still turn back now with no problems. She looks down and nods for me to continue. I position myself in front of her entrance and slowly push in. This hurts a lot more than I thought. I push my head in and unintentionally push myself fully inside. Uraraka begins to scream in pain from this and starts to open her eyes wide with tears streaming down them. Uraraka, are you alright? Let me pull. Oh, don't. I don't want you to take it out until we're done. I agree to her and wait till she starts to adjust. Once a few minutes pass by, she gives me the all clear to start moving. I pull out a bit to notice that the depth of my PP was outlined by her body. I begin to push back in and watch as Uraraka starts to grunt from me filling her back up. I keep going and pick up some speed along the way. Uraraka begins to breathe loudly at this and starts sticking her tongue out. I go and embrace her to make her mind come back to reality a bit. Does it feel good, Uraraka? I look at her a bit confused. When we're alone, call me Ochaco. Alright, Ochaco. I start to pick up my pace and begin to hear the sound of my body slam against hers. Ochaco, I'm gonna come. Ochaco wraps her legs around me after hearing this to prevent me from pulling out. Finish inside. I want you to finish inside me. Ochaco. I push myself as far in as I can and release everything inside her. The action makes her roll her eyes back and start to urinate from the excruciating pleasure. Once I finish, I pull myself out and look at Ochaco's now inflated self. At this point, she was completely passed out and for air, I guess that was a little too intense. Sorry about that, Ochaco. I'll try and make it easier for you next time. I embrace her on her head before taking the sheets off and cleaning Ochaco as best I can before putting her back on the bed with a blanket over her. And once I finish putting on the bed sheets in the wash and leaving a spare shirt and shorts for Ochaco, I make my way downstairs to make something for the both of us. My mind starts to sink in on what we just did, and think on how this will affect both of us going forward. Good thing Mom's not here, it would be a little difficult explaining why Ochaco's naked and asleep in my bed. You're right, that is a little strong to explain. I look over and see Mom sitting at the table with someone. All Might. What are you both doing here? For one, it's my house, so why wouldn't I be here? I was a little bit amazed that she was there before I asked her a question. How much of that were you here for? I don't know, I came into Uraraka talking about how she would look PRNT and decided to listen onward. I just stood there completely defeated and ashamed at the fact my own mother heard me and my girlfriend have section. So did you enjoy your little experience? Relax, I'm only teasing. But nice work sealing the deal. I honestly approve of Ochaco far more than Katsumi. My mom only smiles at me as she sips from her tea. Mom throws a bottle at me with no exact indication on what it was on the label. Those are morning after pills. In short, it'll keep your girlfriend from getting PR gin and tea. Not that I wouldn't mind grandkids, but I don't think it's worth ruining both your lives just yet. Just tell her to take one when she wakes up. That's one crisis I forgot about resolved. Anyway, All Might came here to tell you something. Mom motions to the deflated hero who was trying to wrap her head around the situation the best she could. Well, young Aizawa, I came because I wanted to apologize for what I said before. I had no ground for what I said, and it took me watching you go head first into danger to realize that the quirk doesn't make the heroine. Or hero in your case. For this, I am truly and greatly sorry for what I said to you. All Might starts to bow her head in remorse for my forgiveness. It's okay, All Might, I don't hold it against you. I forgive you. I can't stay mad at one of my favorite heroines for long. I smile at her to tell her everything is okay. Thank you, young Aizawa. All Might starts to get up after hearing this. There is one thing I'd like to know though. Ask away. When you ran in to save young Uraraka, what pushed you to do this? I stopped for a second to think before answering. I just saw she needed help, and I just ran in without thinking. Young man, what you just described is an act of a true hero. You've probably heard it all before, their bodies moved on their own, they just acted, they just did it without thinking. These are actions that great heroes have as a beginning for them. This is also what happened to you that day, young Izuku Midoriya, and it is with great pleasure that I answer your question now truthfully. You can become a hero. 16 These words just ring in my mind and remind me of everyone who either doubted or ridiculed me for my dream. The feeling of somebody actually believing in me and saying the words I've longed for someone to say moves me to the point of tears. I bend over and begin to silently sob tears of happiness for what I was told. Thank you, All Might. You have no idea how much this means to me. Mom lets me have a few seconds of accepting this before coming over and hugging me as a way to say she's sorry for never believing in me. Day of the entrance exams. Izuku POV. I wake up to the sound of my alarm going off like always. Once I shut it off, I feel something on my seat. I pull the covers up to see Ochaco on my side and wrapped around my seat. Right, I forgot she spent the night yesterday. Ochaco has been spending every day she could over my house since our first time together. Whenever we have days off of school, it's normally odd when she doesn't ask to stay the night. One could argue that we're more like a married couple now, in all honesty. I begin staring at Ochaco's slightly revealed 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘 and start to remember some of our little antics over the past couple of months. Whenever we were home alone, me and Ochaco would normally try and explore our own SXL natures more. Maybe just for a second. I've never paid attention to it, but the feeling of Ochaco's body is rather soft and delicate. Almost like I could bruise it so easily if I'm not careful. But I've never really took a moment to flat out feel her 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘. Not that I never wanted to, but because it's just a weird question to ask her. With this in mind, I gently reach my hand in her pajamas to silently feel what was on my mind. Very soft. Probably one of the softest feeling parts on her whole body. Her skin is also very vibrant. Maybe she does some special skincare or something. Do you like what you feel? It's very soft and please dash. I stop midway in my answer to realize Ochaco is awake and staring at me. I quickly pull my hand out and put both of them up in a defensive action. It's not what you think. I'm not a pervert or something. It's just dash, giggle, relax, Deku. I'm only teasing you. She begins to laugh at my own panicked face before I put it down in shame. We should probably get up though, don't want to be late for today. Alright. Ochaco lets go of MD and starts to get clothes to change into. She heads to the bathroom for me to change in my room. Ochaco really has been getting bolder recently. Maybe it's because of our talk before. A little while back. Me, Mom, and Ochaco began to talk about what was going to happen going forward in regards to our relationship. Unfortunately, I was going to have to take more women in besides Ochaco, as I told her before. She seemed to understand this a little better than I was expecting her to and accepted this with only a few conditions. The first was that she was number one no matter what. I agreed to this with no argument, since I wanted to keep her as my number one from the start. Her second was that she would marry me and be the first mother of my kids. I didn't see a problem with either of these as well, so I agreed to this as well. Could we actually get married? I might have to ask Mom about that later. After a few minutes, I head down to my mother sitting at the table looking into the kitchen for some strange reason. She notices me and looks at me like I did something stupid. You have the weirdest, my son. Why, what do you accept? I look in and notice that Ochaco is making breakfast with only an apron on. The image was RDC enough for me that I got a nosebleed when she bent over and stuck out her supple round but for full view. Just so you know, I never told her to do this. It's fine, I'm kinda not surprised after what you both did 5 months ago. I now begin to remember that her and All Might were in the house while we were having section. Is today just meant to make me be ridiculed for all to take satisfaction in? Mom only laughs at my own misfortune. While we're on the topic of 5 months ago, how's training been with All Might? It's progressing really well, as she says. I am currently able to use her quirk at 80% alone, and 50 to 60% when I have one or both of my quirks activated. Mom shows an impressed face before getting her superior smirk on her face. Did you get to try the other way to get the quirk yet? Ochaco only looks in our direction to see me embarrassed and Mom laughing. She ignores us and goes back to what she was doing. Relax, I'm only messing with you. You've been doing that a lot though. What can I say? When it's fun to do something, it's fun to do it. I only sigh in defeat before remembering how these things happened. 5 months ago, right after last chapter's end, it's because of this, I deem you worthy of inheriting my quirk. I completely stop in my tracks when hearing this. Ha, you should see your face. All Might starts laughing and spewing BLD at the fact I was completely confused. I deem you worthy of inheriting my quirk. Didn't you hear me the first time? Well yeah, I mean I did. But quirks don't just magically get given to people like that. I mean it defies all the information we have on them. ****, I guess it was a little too much to say to you without an explanation. Listen closely, young Aizawa. My quirk is called One for All. It's a mix of a stockpile and a quirk that allows me to pass down quirks. This quirk has been with a total of 8 different people counting me. I deem you worthy of being the 9th user of this quirk. My mind was still at a complete jumble. My mind is totally lost right now. I can't even begin to wrap my head around this thought. First, how is this even physically done? Second, why am I worthy for this? I'm sure there's a million heroines out there that deserve this more than me. And third, would it even work since I'm a man? In order of your question, you have to eat a piece of my hair. There are some notable heroines out there that I could give this to, but you're the first person that I've seen show a mark of true selflessness in a very long time. And I'm not exactly sure if it will or not. If it works, then that's an added bonus for you. If not, it's just an odd experience that you may just ignore going forward. Good to know. If you're okay with it, then I accept. After hearing this, All Might turns into her buff form. That's what I like to hear, no hesitation. I do have one question though. Do I have to eat your hair to get the quirk, or is there another way? Well, there is, but you would have to do the same thing you did with young Uraraka before having C with her. Before having section. What does Shio hell know? There's no way I can do that with All Might. And no offense, All Might, but I'll stick with the hair. What? Don't feel like finding out what the number 1 pro heroine tastes. Mom just starts laughing with no restraint, while both me and All Might were just standing there blushing at her little quip. Ahem with that now said, eat this. I took the piece of her hair that she pulled out and swallowed it as best I could. The taste was literally what sour milk tasted like left out on the sun. Yee, I think I'm gonna be sick. I hold back my urge to vomit and go into the kitchen to get some water to wash the taste out of my mouth. Once the urge subsided, Mom started to speak. Okay, now that that's done, I need to tell you that you won't be taking the entrance exams for UA. Wait, what? You'll be brought into the school on recommendation. The reason for this is because it would be way too easy for a villain to kidnap you during this. Due to the security system being SHT off for examines to enter the grounds, literally anyone can just walk in and take you without anyone even realizing what happened until it was too late to do anything. With this in mind, Principal Nezumi offered to give you a recommendation and keep you safe from this threat. I'll have to take this if I want to go to UA, won't I? Unless you have another school you want to go to, yes. I reluctantly agree, knowing that I don't have much of another choice. Back to present. Breakfast is ready. I'm pulled out of my daze by Ochaco putting a plate of pancakes and eggs in front of me. Thank you. You're welcome. I also have a plate for you as well, Ms. Aizawa. You're such a dear, Ochaco. We all sit down and start eating. This is nice. Who taught you to cook? Deku. Mom only looks at me with a smirk after hearing this. I see you're turning her into your ideal wife. Don't say things that corrupts her image of me. You're making me look like some sort of controlling freak. You're right, you're just a little perv that immerses himself in the pleasure in women. Both me and Ochaco just turn red at this comment. Mom just keeps laughing at this while we try and ignore this and keep eating. Time skip in front of you. Wow, it's much bigger in person. Ochaco looked at the school in amazement as we begin walking in. I smiled at her enthusiasm while Mom was just giving her normal emotionless glare. Get out of my way, you DMN jackasses. We turn around and see Kacchin coming up with her usual attitude. I didn't even think she recognized me at first since I wore a hoodie to prevent people from realizing who I was. If us being in the way is that bug of an issue, then go around us, Kacchin. At this point, she finally realized who I was and started to scowl. What are you doing here, nerd? This is a school for heroines, not losers like you. I am here to cheer Ochaco on. Also, I will be attending this school on a recommendation. So if you have any doubts about that, you can just SCK on this. I bring out my acceptance letter via recommendation to show her. She only reads the important parts and starts to uncontrollably shake with anger. You think you're better than me, do? Just you watch. I'll be the one to knock you down that pedestal you think you're on and show you how useless you are. Such vulgarity in the presence of a school for heroines will not be tolerated. We both stop in our tracks to see a blue-haired girl with glasses walk over to us and try to stop our fight. I don't understand why you are wearing a hoodie either, miss, but it is disrespectful to this school and what it stands for. I would appreciate it if you take it off. Mom finally steps in to take her attention off of me at this point. This is a recommended student. The only reason for my child's presence here is to cheer on Ms. Uraraka over here. I will make sure that no issues will be as a teacher of UA by my own kid. You have my word, miss. 𝗧𝗏𝗧𝗟𝗘. I'm sorry, I know the name is spelt with 2 I's. But I'm going to screw my brain up on other stories if I start spelling it that way. Ingenium's little sister. Guess the stiffness is a natural thing with the both of you. At least I know it mellow with age though. Tell your sister Ms. Aizawa said hello when you see her next. I will make sure to, ma'am. She now turns to Kachin. As for you, calling your fellow examines useless is an insult to heroism in general. I would think a possible future student of UA would be better equipped with manners than to do this. Kachin just gets at the Ida girl's comment. Shut it, 4 eyes. I never asked for your opinion. If I want it, I'll ask you for it. How rude, and in the presence of a teacher no less. All 3 of us take the hint and start walking away to leave them in their argument. 18 once inside, we get to the crossroad of where we go. I guess I'll see you after the exam then. Dear best Ochaco. Ochaco looks at me and smiles the best she can. I promise I'll get in. And once we're in, let's have a big party afterwards. Definitely. We embrace and make our ways to where we need to be. On the way, I bump into someone running around a corner. Smack ow, are you okay? I didn't mean to do that. I look over and see a purple-haired girl with what looked like EUX cords coming out of her earlobes. She looks up and starts to blush uncontrollably. I start to wonder why, but then I notice that my hoodie fell back when we bumped into each other. I put it back up quickly before anyone else sees me. I crouch down and put my hands together in front of the girl and smile. Do you mind keeping this a secret? She only turns redder and abruptly runs away. Adding to your HRMIC. I look over to see my mom smirking at me. You make it sound like that's the only thing that I think of. I start to get up as we continue to make our way to the observation room. Ochaco POV. I walk into the auditorium and sit in a row with some empty seats in it. I get myself comfy and see a girl with purple hair and what looked like earphone jacks on the bottom of her ears come next to me. This seat taken. Go right ahead. It looked like the girl's face was a little sickly from her face being red. You okay? Your face is really red. She realizes this and tries to calm herself down a bit. Why yeah, it's probably the draft in here. I hope she isn't sick or something. I'd be bad if you couldn't take this test at your best. I turn my attention to the front until my least favorite person comes and sits on the other side of me. She looks to her left and notices me. Of all the people I could sit by, it had to be her. Of all the people I could sit by, it had to be you. Guess my feeling is mutual. I try and ignore her while we hear Present Mike come in and give her announcement. 84, what's up ladies, let's make some noise. The whole auditorium was so quiet, you could hear a pin drop. Tough crowd. Well then, let's get down to business. 𝗧𝗏𝗧𝗟𝗘, what an idiot. Guess that's Deku's aunt for you. I couldn't believe it, Sue was disrespecting Deku when he wasn't even here to defend himself. Why are you bringing Deku into this? He's not even here right now. Why should I care? He's a complete loser and you're nothing more than his skank. I begin to get a little agitated at this. At least I'm not a CNT like you. I'd rather be a CNT than that nerd slot. Funny, I'd rather be Deku's slot than a version hot-headed beach. She starts to glare me down at this comment. You wanna go round face. I glare back at her. I dare you to throw the first punch. I'll blow holes in you. Go right ahead, Deku plugs enough of mine up where that doesn't make it. difference. We're now so caught up in our own argument that we're not even paying attention to what's happening on stage till we're pulled out by that blue-haired girl from before shouting at us. And you too, why are you fighting in the middle of this discussion? If picking a fight with each other is so much more important than hearing this, then please leave at once. You are distracting everyone around you with your mindless bantering. Whoops, guess I got a little carried away. The girl sits back down and listens to present Mick's question. I take the hint and sit right and listen to the rest of the announcement. On the training field, I start to feel a little nervous about the test. So I do a few breathing techniques Ms. Aizawa taught me when my nerves get to me. Hey, you're the one chick that was fighting that Ash girl, right? I look over and see the same girl that sat next to me. Oh yeah, sorry about that. I didn't mean to bring my own issues out like that. No worries. But quick question, was this about that guy with the quirk? What, no way. I mean, how could it be? It's like 1,000,000 to 1 chance that I would even know him. Deku told me before this that it would be a problem if people found out he was here. Please bite. I don't want to cause Deku more problems than he already has. It's fine if it was, I mean, he did seem to be a nice person. I look at her a little confused. What do you mean? Well, I kinda bumped into him before everything. He was cool about it, but I was too embarrassed to say anything and ran away. Now the only man in Japan thinks I'm some kind of weirdo. She starts to bury her face in her hands after saying this. I start to chuckle a bit knowing that she reminds me of Deku when he gets flustered. It's fine, I'm sure he doesn't think that. Deku doesn't judge someone like that. Ah, really? She opens her fingers up to show one of her eyes. If you don't think so, I can introduce you to him later. She pulls her face out and looks at me with to make sure I'm not kidding. You serious? You're not pulling my leg right now. I put my hand out before answering. Scout's honor, my name's Ochaco Uraraka. Nice to meet ya, Kyokajiro. She shakes my hand and starts to smile. And go. Ah. What? There's no ready set in a fight. Your time is ticking. We all book it through the gates to start the practical exam. Meanwhile, Izuku POV, me and Mom make it to the observation deck right when they start the test. Izuku, how long has it been? Aunt Midnight stands up and brings me into a hug. I start to lose air while being stuck between her sissy. I try and tap her to stop, but she only stops when Mom pulls me away. Can't you see you were suffocating him? Oh, come on, Shoya, I rarely get to see my favorite nephew. Can't I just enjoy a little skinship with him? Sorry, but he already has someone who does this at home. He doesn't need an aunt that doesn't know personal space on him as well. Thank you, Mom, for being a parent. Fine. But he sits next to me. I take my seat next to Aunt Midnight and begin to greet Principal Nezumi. It's good to see you again, Ms. Nezumi. Also, thank you for allowing me the opportunity to watch. You're welcome, Izuku, and it's good to see you as well. Aunt Mike opens the door and enters a little after she started the tests. Izuku, how are you? Aunt Mike comes and pats my head before sitting next to me. I'm doing well, thank you for asking. We all start looking at the screens to see how the test is going for some. On one screen, I notice Kacchan destroying many robots with very little trouble. Damn it, she's still as amazing as ever. I almost wish she wasn't as self-centered as she was. Hey, that's the listener that was fighting with that brunette during the announcement before. Mike, was the brunette one with hair down to her shoulders in a bob cut? Aunt Mike listens to Mom's description and starts to nod. Now that's our mention it, yes she was. But how do you know her? Because that was Uraraka? Wait, that was Izuku's girlfriend. I start to punch the sides of my nose at this realization. Something tells me that I was the cause of this. The test keeps going without any problems, until Nezumi hits a big red button. Once pressed, a large amount of explosions happen and a giant robot comes out. Ms. Nezumi, what did you do? I released what we call a zero-pointer. He doesn't know about this since he never took the exam or saw it going on before. People tend to show their true colors when put in states of emergency. This is one of those times. I look on to see almost everyone start to run the opposite direction of the robot. I look over to one of the monitors and notice a girl was stuck in the rubble. Once I looked closer I realized who it was. Ochaco. I watch on in anger as the giant robot prepares to stomp on her with nobody going and helping her. Memories of me and her begin to flood into my head and just make me more scared for her. Without even thinking, I charge my entire body with electricity and OFA to charge out the window to the ground. I make my way down to the fake city at speeds faster than lightning. Every move I made created wind pressure and smoldered the concrete under me. Once in front of the 0-pointer, I ran up the one leg of it and up to its head. You want to hurt Ochaco? Then let me show you what happens when you try. I pull back my right arm and infuse OFA and my elemental quirk in it. Take this, Thunder Smash. The robot is shot by lightning when my fist hit it. The cause of this made a lightning bolt go straight through it and cause a loud hit of thunder to come. The 0-pointer falls to the ground and I stand atop it with one fist in the air to prove my victory. Deku. I'm brought back to reality when I hear Ochaco call me. Ochaco, are you okay? I look over to see the purple-haired girl from before supporting her and looking away from me with a blush. I'll be okay. But that was amazing. You were like whoosh and then kabam, right in that robot's face. Ochaco says this with trying to punch forward and making the both of them lose balance a little. Ah, DMN, that hurt? I look down and realize my arm is completely broken and burned from using too much lightning in my arm. I'll take it from here, everyone. We look over to see Recovery Girl walking up to us. Quite the scare you gave everyone, Izuku, but that certainly was a show. She both me and Ochaco to heal the both of us. Good thing I built up a lot of stamina, or I may be out cold. I walked up to Ochaco and hugged her in relief. I'm glad you're safe. I was so worried that you'd get really hurt from this. I don't think I would be able to live with myself if that happened. She starts to blush a bit at my words, but hugs me back after a second. I guess you're my guardian angel or something. You just keep saving me when I need it the most. We hug for a minute until we pull ourselves apart. Oh yeah, Deku, this is 𝗔𝗧𝗧𝗟𝗘. She said she wanted to meet you. And nice to meet you, I'm Kyoka 𝗔𝗧𝗧𝗟𝗘. I only smile at her before talking. It's nice to meet you, 𝗔𝗧𝗧𝗟𝗘. I'm Izuku Midoriya. She sees my smile and now turns completely red and covers her face. Here, you may want to cover up Sunny. You'll definitely make my life a lot easier. I was confused why Recovery Girl gave me a shirt to me. I looked down and realized that my shirt was completely burned off and showing my bare titty to everyone. I look out to the crowd to see a mix of people. Red in embarrassment, with nosebleeds, or taking pictures with their phones. I quickly put the shirt on and make my way out of the sight. About an hour later. So you put bets on if I were to do that? Oh yeah, and I came out of this with like $200 from everyone. You've done well, my son. I start to walk out of UA completely amazed that my own mother would place bets on me interrupting the test or not. Hey Deku. I look up and see Ochaco with 𝗔𝗧𝗧𝗟𝗘 behind her. You mind if 𝗔𝗧𝗧𝗟𝗧 hangs out with us a little bit? Sure, if she wants to. 𝗔𝗧𝗧𝗟𝗘 starts to smile a bit and nod. Alright then. Let's see if we can find a nice cafe or something around here then. Mom's treat. Why is it mine? Because you're the one who placed a bet on me doing that and won all that money? She sighs in defeat knowing that she's not getting out of her little antic that easily. Later that day, Katsumi POV. Damn it. Why did I have to see that? For the whole day after the exam, I've been stuck with the image of stupid Deku shirtless in my head. I was in the crowd of people that were huddled over the 0-pointer during this. Once I pushed through, I noticed Deku on top of it shirtless. It has been a while since I saw him with no shirt on. Probably 10 years now. So it would be natural to get muscles like that, right? Oh, those rugged, toned, perfectly chiseled dash. Get a hold of yourself, woman. This is Deku you were talking about. He's a loser, a nerd, nothing more than a baby maker. Most men have some shortcoming, so he's gotta have something he had. I think for a second and get an idea. He probably has a small PP or something. All I gotta do is see it, then I'll be able to get my head clear. You hear me, Deku, you're nothing but a small F-man. No way will I be swooned by some loser like you. Katsumi, stop screaming and come down for dinner. I'm coming, you old hag. Izuku POV. It's been about a week since the entrance exams at UA. In that time, I've gotten to know 𝗔𝗧𝗧𝗟𝗘 better. She normally keeps to herself, but is someone that holds their decisions to heart. She's also a fan of rock music thanks to her mother working as a songwriter herself. She may not have the best outer look at first glance, but she has her cute sides to her when I get to see them. If I could put my thoughts for her in words, I'd say she's someone I would love to spend as much time with. Ochaco likes her as well. To her, 𝗔𝗫𝗧𝗟𝗘 is the friend that she always wanted and will have the privilege to keep close with. Earlier today, she even wanted to be a part of my HRM. I agreed after Ochaco said she was okay with it. Right now, we're doing nothing special than just sitting on the couch and watching 7 Deadly Sins. Both 𝗔𝗫𝗧𝗟𝗘 and Ochaco have one of my arms, while Yami has my lap. Has anyone ever noticed that Meliodas tends to make 𝗧𝗜𝗧𝗟𝗘 Elizabeth a lot in this? Like to an unhealthy amount. Not like we're ones to talk 𝗔𝗫𝗧𝗟𝗘. I slightly smile at 𝗔𝗫𝗧𝗟𝗘's comment while she only pouts at me. I told you to start calling me Kyoka from now on. I realize my mistake and stop smiling. Sorry I mean Kyoka? ****, that was a little strong, wasn't it Deku? Great, I have one pouting and one laughing at me. What else can go wrong? I'm home. Had to say it. I look over to Mom with a little bit of curiosity. Didn't you say you weren't going to be back till like 2 in the morning? I did, but I needed to drop something off to the 3 of you. To Ochaco and Kyoka, you are officially students of UA. Congratulations. Both couldn't let go of me fast enough before grabbing the letters. Screams where I. Both start to scream and hug Mom in the excitement. Also, I have 2 things for you Izuku. 2 things? Well 3, but 2 of them are the same thing. So first I have a letter from the government. I take the envelope and open it to read what they're telling me. Dear Izuku Aizawa, we are contacting you to congratulate you on your HRM start yada, yada, yada. Mutter Kyoka 𝗔𝗫𝗧𝗟𝗘 and Ochaco Uraraka. Wait, but I just started dating Kyoka today. Maybe, but you've been hanging out with her like you've added her to your HRM? I continue to read until I get to the last part. Put in a check of $20,000 for this month. I was in complete shock at the fact that I was given a monthly check of 20 grand for living expenses. Any chance we can put this in a savings account tomorrow? I'll make time. But on another note, you 2 are going to be living here starting next month. Wait, what? Do you not know the HRM law, Kyoka? You're going to have to live with Izuku from now on. Kyoka was completely amazed and embarrassed, while Ochaco was not fazed since she already kinda lived here enough that I had enough of her clothes in my room for her to move in with little coming in. With that said, they're also expanding our house for more space. I guess that makes sense with what you just said. Okay, that's the first. What's the second thing? HRM forms. Come again. You have 2 HRM forms for 2 different women who apparently are both going to IA on recommendation. I sit there for a minute before taking both forms to look at them. The first, from what I was told, was for a Momo Yaoyorozu. Her mother is the head of the Yaoyorozu Corporation, literally the biggest group in Japan. I open the form for Yaoyorozu and see a picture of the girl. She seems like she's rather refined. I wonder why she would want to do this. Kyoka comes up and looks at her picture and falls to the ground. I've completely lost now. Why couldn't I be born more feminine? It's okay, Kyoka, I still like you the way you are. So what if you don't have physical features like the Yaoyorozu girl? You're still one of my girls that was accepted by me and Ochaco personally. She starts to feel a little better and comes over to sit on the couch with me. The next is a Shuto Todoroki. Apparently she's the youngest daughter of the number 2 pro heroine Endeavor. I start to get a little uneasy at the next coming from Endeavor. Wait, but last time I met her she threatened to burn my crotch and my head off. Why the change of heart? Dunno, but we can't fight it, so we're left with just accepting it and finding out later. I take out the form and notice the picture of Todoroki in it as well. I end up noticing a few things right off the bat in the picture. The first was that she literally was half her mother's daughter and half someone else down the middle. The second was a painful-looking scar over her left eye. Wow, she looks appealing. Ochaco looked at the picture with amazement at the image of our soon-to-be acquaintance. Too bad her mother isn't exactly fond of me. Don't start fights with people that aren't here, Izuku. Even if it isn't wrong, that's bad manners. I sigh and agree with Mom to stop a fight. Now I have to leave. Ochaco and Kyoka, Your stuff will be here in the morning. The add-ons won't be done till next week, but I don't think where you're both sleeping will be that difficult. Also, those two will be moving in on the first day of school. Make sure you don't get too wild, and I'll see you in the morning." With that said, Mom left us alone for most of the night. Silence just came over us at the fact we're all going to be living together now. ****. So anyways, congrats you two on making it to UA. Both remembered this and looked at their information to see what class they're in. Hey Izuku, what class are you in? 1A. Both look at each other and smile at this realization. We're all in the same class. Ochaco shouts this in excitement and pounces me with a hug. Kyoka looked like she wanted to do the same, but was reluctant to do so. I open my arm to invite her in. Get over here. Since we'll be together, there's no need to hold yourself back. If you want to hug me, just follow Ochaco's lead and do it. She takes a minute to accept this and walks over to join us. There we go, feel better. She smiles at me with a bit of a blush on her face. Very much. We hold this position for a few more minutes before letting go to get off the ground. So we've got the night to ourselves. What do you two want to do? Both look at each other before grabbing me from behind. If you must know, Deku, we want to celebrate all of us getting into UA with a little fun. Ochaco says this while nibbling on my ear. I look over to Kyoka to see if she's okay with this. She nods and starts to leave a hickey on my neck. Guess it can't be helped then. I pick both girls up and lug them on my shoulders. Wow Deku, did you get stronger? You got that right, all muscle. And it's all for my girls. Both of them begin to blush as I take them up to my room. Third person POV. Lemon warning. Izuku takes both Ochaco and Kyoka and gently tosses them on his bed. Ochaco goes right to the nightstand and takes out a small box. She grabs 2 small pills from the box and gives one of them to her friend. Meanwhile, Izuku begins to take his shirt off to reveal his toned body. The sight of this makes Kyoka blush uncontrollably and begin to drool a little. Come on Kyoka, don't keep him waiting. Kyoka looks over and sees that Ochaco had already taken her shirt and shorts off to reveal her neon green underwear. Izuku takes the moment to try and embarrass her to get a little even with her. Greenha, did you by chance pick that up thinking of me? Ochaco starts to blush and nods at this. Thanks to her honesty, Izuku begins to embrace Ochaco's lips and begins to get her more in the mood. Kyoka starts to take her shirt off to reveal a dark purple BR that she wasn't exactly proud of showing. Izuku comes over and puts Kyoka on his lap. Sorry, I'm not that pretty like Ochaco. Izuku sees her uneasiness and starts to think of what to say. You might not be drop-dead gorgeous, but you're definitely not unappealing. I find you cute and attractive just the way you are. Izuku pulls her in for a passionate embrace before sliding his hand under her BR to make Kyoka from him effing her. You might not be comparable in size, but that doesn't mean they aren't sensitive. Kyoka goes in for another embrace while Izuku is feeling her and pulling her BR up in the process. Seems you're both having fun. Both pull away to see Ochaco with only her underwear on with her bare cis-tee completely visible to them. Izuku takes the moment to motion Ochaco to sit on his one free leg. She almost rushes at the opportunity and wraps her arms around Izuku's neck. He now takes his free hand and begins to massage one of Ochaco's melons. Meanwhile, Izuku continues to play with Kyoka's NPL while alternating Huhi between the two. After a few minutes, both girls get off Izuku so he can take his shorts off. Once he does, both girls are met by his 14-inch PP with girth bigger than their wrists pointing directly at them. Is that thing even legal? Kyoka starts to look at her boyfriend's PP with fear to what will happen to her if he puts it in. Ochaco starts to move closer to it and begins it. While this is going on, Izuku begins to pat Ochaco and feel absolute bliss of her tongue slowly going up and down him. She reaches her hand to grab Kyoka's and bring her over. If we don't do this, we'll regret it when the real fun starts. Hearing this makes Kyoka reluctantly follow Ochaco's lead and start him. She tried to mimic her friend's pattern to try and get a better feel for what she should do. The feeling of both tongues moving over Izuku's duck nearly put him to the edge. But right when he was ready to come, Ochaco stopped him by holding his shut. "NJ, why did you do that?" She only looks at him with a smug look on him. Let's move this to the bed, shall we? Izuku followed her orders and lied down on his bed. Ochaco got between his legs and started taking him inside her mouth. Thanks to her training with controlling her 𝗔𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘 reflex, she was able to take up to 8 inches inside before having trouble. Ah, you definitely got better at this, Ochaco. She only smiles before going back to pushing it in to get down to 10. Kyoka was only watching in astonishment that her friend could take Izuku as deep as she was. But her thoughts were cut short by said man picking her up and putting her so she's straddling his face. Izuku, what are you dashed? Her sentence was cut by him putting his tongue into her pages. The feeling was completely different than anything Kyoka could imagine, and began to lose herself to the pleasure. Izuku started to grunt after 2 minutes to indicate that he was close. Ochaco took this as an indication that she needed to push it down as best she could and shoved it in until she had 12 inches in her. Kyoka started to lose it from the pleasure, and shoved Izuku's head as close to her nether region as it would go. In one go, Izuku and Kyoka both came with Ochaco receiving Izuku's cum directly down her throat and to her stomach. The amount was enough to bloat her stomach a bit to show a noticeable bulge on her. The feeling of her lover's orgasm in her mouth forced her to do the same. After they all catch their breath, Ochaco lays Kyoka on her back and opens her legs to prepare her for what she was about to do. Are you ready? Izuku questions Kyoka, who only nods to say yes. Izuku begins slow and being conscious about the force he's giving as he enters her. Once the head gets in, Kyoka begins to feel pain she couldn't even fathom as her most precious part being ripped open to make way for her beloved's pages. Dear God, this hurts? Yeah, at least he didn't mess up and put it in you all at once. Kyoka started to look at Ochaco with a little fear from what she said so calmly. She bared with the pain as best she could until Izuku finally pushed the base in her. He waited there for a few minutes for Kyoka to get used to the size before moving slowly. Ochaco watched by with astonishment to the fact her friend had the outline of Izuku's pee-pee bulge out of her stomach. Kyoka was slowly getting used to the pain, and began to feel the pleasure that eventually came from their actions. Once it was gone enough to be bearable, she started to lose herself to the pleasure again. She started to stick her tongue out, but was still aware of what was happening around them. Izuku began to bend down to give her a loving embrace when a sudden thought came to his head. Kyoka, what would happen if I messed with where we're connected with one of your AUX cords? Don't I won't be able to keep myself sane if you do. Izuku starts to get a wicked idea in his head and gently grabs said AUX cord. He pulls it down and starts playing with her entrance with it. Why did you do that? Because I want to give you the best experience I can for your first. You also seem to be enjoying yourself a bit too much from this. Have you ever done something like this before? No. Kyoka starts to feel an orgasm coming, but is stopped by Izuku not moving and taking the AUX cord out. Hey, what are you dash? L won't keep going unless you give me an honest answer. Kyoka silently says a yes only loud enough for Izuku to barely hear. I'm sorry, I couldn't catch that. Guess you don't want to keep going then. Izuku slowly takes his PP out until only the tip is left. Yes, okay, I am steer bait with putting my AUX cords in me. I know it's wrong, but I can't help it. Izuku only smiles before slamming himself back into her, making her come from the sudden push. Izuku begins to pick up his speed and put his face directly in front of Kyoka's. You ready for the last part? Yes, please. I want to feel it inside me. Izuku starts to pick up his speed to make it sound like he was slapping Kyoka with force before finally letting it all out inside her. The amount was enough to make Kyoka's stomach bloat to about 3 times the size. Once he finally finished, Kyoka laid unconscious with the biggest smile of satisfaction on her face. Izuku pulled out of her and looked at Ochaco masturbating to the image in front of her. Want a little help? Ochaco nods at this and straddles Izuku before taking the whole thing inside her at once. You seem to have a lot of fun with Kyoka. I was beginning to feel a little left out. This statement made Izuku smile at his pouting lover. Maybe, but I'm all yours for now until morning. And I plan to make the best of that time. Ochaco begins to bounce on Izuku as best she could until she begins to lose herself to the pleasure. When this happens, Izuku takes the lead and starts to give Ochaco the time of her life. He continues slamming into her for a few minutes before coming inside her to make her already inflated stomach look more inflated than it already was. We're not done yet, Deku. I'm going to milk you dry tonight. Something tells me neither of us will get much sleep tonight. Lemon and Izuku POV. I wake up to the sound of knocking at my door. Ochaco, Kyoka, your stuff is he dash. I get up and see my mom with a bit of a bewildered face on her. This is going to be a normal routine for you from now on, isn't it? I don't even realize what she meant until I looked over to see both Kyoka and Ochaco naked with bloated stomachs from what happened the night before. Both had smiles on their faces and were sleeping peacefully. They did take BR all right. I nod before Mom leaves the room with a look of wishing she didn't see what she saw. Time skipped to first day of school. Me, Ochaco, and Kyoka are standing in front of Class 1A's door prepares to go in. ****, well, guess this is where we start, huh? I start to get a little uneasy not knowing what we're in for. Relax, Izuku, we already know that Yaoyorozu and Todoroki are in this class. What's the chance we have that Bakugo girl as one of our other 15 classmates? I begin to open the door and hear yelling. Get your feet off that desk this instant. It is an insult to the creators of it and those that were here before. Did your old school put that stick up your butt, or were you just born with it 4 eyes? How dare you insult me as such? My name is 𝗧𝗜𝗧𝗟𝗘. Everyone's attention was put to me the second I enter in. Sweet, we get the only boy in our class. A girl with blonde hair and a lightning bolt in a bang shouts this. Hell yeah. I'm gonna get to feel a man's bit long. A girl with what looked like ball on her head was cut off by Yaoyorozu who was behind her. Hello, I am 𝗧𝗜𝗧𝗟𝗘. It is nice to meet you, Mr. Male Quirk User. The blue-haired girl Ida starts running up to me and karate chopping the air before putting her hand out for me to shake it. It's nice to meet you again, Ms. Ida. My name is Izuku Aizawa. And behind me is Kyoka Jiro on my left and Ochaco Uraraka on my right. I motion to both that greet her. Again. When have we ? If you're here to make friends, then leave now. Everyone turns to see a figure in a yellow sleeping bag come through the door. Mom, you're our teacher. Everyone was amazed at this sudden statement. Ida finally realized what I meant before by again. I apologize for not realizing you from before, sir. Please forgive me. Ida starts to bow before I pat her shoulder too and tell her it was all right. We all take our seats before Mom gets out of her sleeping bag. Hello, my name is Shoya Aizawa. As my son just said, I am your teacher and his mother. Now put these on and meet me outside. Mom takes out gym uniforms from her sleeping bag and tosses mine to me. Izuku, I'm giving you a 5-minute head start since we don't have a men's changing room. I take this hint and book out the room before anyone has the chance to say a word. On the field, hey Deku, aren't we going to miss orientation? UA falls in a different criteria than other schools. The teachers can take out things that they seem to think is pointless in their teaching measures. So basically, she can teach her class however she wants. Precisely as he says. You were listening. How rude. Mom takes a ball and throws it to Kacchan. Bakugo, what was your farthest throw in middle school? 68 meters. Why don't you step in the ring and use your quirk this time? Kacchan does this and starts to stretch. Anything goes, as long as you don't leave the circle. She winds her arm back and begins to yell before throwing it. Go to hell. Go to hell. The ball goes rocketing through the air before Mom takes her phone out and shows it went 795. 2 meters. Beat that. Mom hears this and throws a ball at me. You scored highest in the recommended students, right, Izuku? I nod before going up to the ring. Your record was 65. 3 meters without your quirk. Let's see what it is now. I begin to charge OFA in my arm and manipulate the wind to swirl around me. I pull my arm back and throw it as strong as I can and use the wind to push it farther than it would be able to. After it goes out of sight, Mom looks at her phone and puts it up. 498 kilometers, yes. I could see the scowl on Kacchan begin to grow when she realized I not only beat her score, but buried it in the dirt. Today you all will be doing 8 different tests with your quirks, and I will expel the person in last place when it's all over. Wait, but we all just got here. Isn't that a little unfair? Mom looked at Ochaco a bit surprised the comment came out of her. Izuku, is life technically fair in your eyes? For the most part, not really. Are you forced to do things you're not exactly happy you have to from the government? Kinda. Were you bullied for just being a man and not having a quirk until recently? Is that the rhetorical question? There's your answer to it being fair. The world is full of unfairness and this isn't much different. If you're that concerned about being expelled, then don't get last. Simple as that. Time skipped to the end of the tests. Alright, I'm not going to go over every test, so here's the placing overall. I look at the board and notice that I just got second to Yaoyorozu. I remember that a few of the things she created were able to just beat me in most of the events. No, I can't be expelled. I didn't even get the chance to get a night with Izuku. I look at the bottom and notice that the bald-headed girl Minoru Mineta faced the misfortune of being last. Everyone else got basically what they did in canon except that Izuku is in second. Oh, and about that expulsion thing, that was a lie. Everyone now just looks at Mom with complete confusion. It was all just a logical ploy to have you all do your best. She begins to smile creepily while Mineta just passes out from the emotional roller coaster she was just on. Am I the only one that saw that? Sorry, I guess that I probably should have said something. I look over to Yaoyorozu to correct her. Yeah, that really wasn't much of a lie. Mom would have expelled all of us if she saw no merit in any of us. I can tell you personally that she's done it before. So honestly speaking, I'm more surprised she didn't than anything. Everyone just looks at me and realizes that I'm not joking and goes totally white. Very funny, Aizawa. You've got me. I look at the blonde who I now knew as Denka Kaminari with no emotion to indicate I wasn't joking. There's syllables on the desks in the classroom, make sure to grab them on your ways out. Mom leaves us all still baffled by what just happened. End of school. I begin walking out to be met by Ochaco and Kyoka waiting for me out front. Hey Deku, you ready to go home? Ochaco comes up to me and grabs one of my arms. Guess we're supposed to follow you home then. I look over my shoulder to see Yaoyorozu and Todoroki walking up to us. Guess so, sorry about the late introductions. My name's Izuku Aizawa, nice to meet you. I'm Ochaco Uraraka. And I'm Kyokajiro. We're both going to be living with you as well. It's nice to meet all of you, my name's Momo Yaoyorozu. We all look at Todoroki to wait for her introduction. Shudo Todoroki. She only says her name and walks to the train station without even making eye contact with anyone. We all were a little confused that she not only barely greeted us, but barely acknowledged us before walking away. I honestly wasn't that surprised since her mother isn't a people person. We all begin to head home in some of the most awkward silence we could have. Once we get home, I see a note on the door. All the stuff is in the rooms that were specified. Guess all your stuff is in your rooms. Do either of you want help? I try asking this to only be completely ignored by Todoroki. Was it something I said? Don't worry about her, Aizawa. I think she's just not used to this yet. Remember that this is a big change for all of us. I guess you're right, Yaoyorozu. Would you like anything specific for dinner? If we have the ingredients, I'll make it the best I can. Don't worry about it, anything will be fine. With that said, Yaoyorozu went up to her room to unpack. Guess I'll start dinner. You girls want anything specific? Both Ochaco and Kyoka think on it for a second before replying. We haven't had katsudon in a while. Yeah, I want to try some of Deku's homemade katsudon. I begin to chuckle at Ochaco's honesty. Okay then, I'll get cooking while you two go and change. Okay. They both leave while I stay and see what I can grab for ingredients. After about an hour, I call to everyone for dinner. Yaoyorozu was on the sofa with Kyoka talking about the makeup they use, while Ochaco was playing with Yami. Has anyone seen Todoroki yet? I think she's still in her room. Want me to grab her? I shake my head to Kyoka before answering. You three eat, I'll go see about grabbing her. Hopefully I can see about clearing some of the awkwardness in the air. I start to walk up to Todoroki's room and knock on her door. Todoroki, dinner's ready if you want some. I don't get a reply back. Sai, I know this is weird, but I want to establish a nice relationship with you. I know that we're living under the same roof through awkward circumstances, but I don't want you to feel out of place here. We all want to be your friend. So please let us get the privilege to show you this. I meet by more silence. I'll send someone up later with a bowl for you. Please just make sure you eat something. I'd feel horrible if you got sick or anything because of that. I walk away from her room to begin to head downstairs to eat myself. With the other girls. Let's hope things get better later. Izuku POV. I wake up to my alarm clock going off. I'm still really sleepy. Maybe I picked up mom's sleeping habit some time back. I get up and make my way to the bathroom to splash cold water on my face to wake up. Today may have me dragging a bit. I open the door to the bathroom and notice that I'm not the first in there. My eyes opened fully to see Yaoyorozu with only her underwear on and nothing else covering her. Immediately after seeing this, I shut the door to give some distance between us. Sorry about that, I wasn't really paying attention. And no worries. I'll just make sure to lock the door next time I go into the bathroom. Okay then, I'll see you downstairs then. I walk a little bit of a distance away before muttering to myself. You didn't see anything. You saw nothing. You didn't see Yaoyorozu in there and you didn't see her changing. They're bigger than they Lu. Nothing was seen. What wasn't seen? I turn around to see Todoroki walking downstairs. Oh hi Todoroki. Hope you slept well. She completely ignores me and makes her way downstairs. Guess we're still not on speaking words, huh? I head down into the kitchen to see about grabbing something to eat before school. Morning Izuku/Deku. Oh, morning 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘. I look into the kitchen to be greeted by Ochaco and Kyoka in only aprons. Why are you both in just apron? What, you don't want us to wear anything over us while cooking? Just looks at me like I'm over-exaggerating. I don't mean it like that. I mean, why aren't you wearing anything else? Both begin to mischievously smile while slowly lifting up the bottom of the aprons. What's wrong, Deku? Don't you like what you see? Ochaco gives me a puppy dog pout while continuing to lift the bottom half of the apron. I start to turn completely red with what they're doing and slightly cover my eyes with my hands. Once they pull the aprons to their hips, they pull it fully up to show that they're wearing swimsuits. My head starts to steam from their taunting in a noticeable way. Did you honestly think either of us would do that, Izuku? Wouldn't be the first for Ochaco? I hear Todoroki in the dining room spit whatever she was drinking at the mention of this. Both laugh at me for my thoughts as I go and grab a bowl of cereal and sit down at the table. At school, common Izuku, it was only a joke. No need to get so flustered over it. Sad part is, I was kinda expecting Ochaco to, with her already doing it once to me. **Psi**, whose idea was it in the first place? Mine/Ochaco's? Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. All 5 of us start walking into class and take our respective seats. But before Yaoyorozu takes hers, she taps my shoulder to ask me something in my ear. Were you serious about Ochaco doing that before? Sadly, but not really, yes. The first time was when the entrance exams were going on that day. Since then, she would occasionally do it when we have no school the next day. She looked at me a little confused. Why not really? I'm not proud to say it, but I kinda like it. Life may be a bit interesting for both me and Todoroki from now on. She just takes the information she was given and heads to her seat with no real emotion on the topic. And here I thought you couldn't sink much lower. Disgusting. 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘 looks over to me after hearing the conversation. So you now have not only round face and weird ears, but now icy hot and ponytail in your stupid ◓. I start to get a little irritated with her comment. And why do you care so much about who is in my ◓? Not like you're in it or are affected by it. Why would I even want to be? You're just a loser male that's supposed to only be useful for breeding. Disgusting to know that people even like you enough to even hang around you. I suddenly feel 4 pairs of eyes shoot daggers at 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘 for being targeted. I bet you the 2 you just got only want you to screw them and get them knocked dash. She doesn't even finish before I shoot a bolt of lightning by her. If you want to PSS me off, that's fine. But none of the girls that I'm with deserve to be targeted by you. So if you think it's a good idea to taunt them, then do it again and see what happens. Everyone just looks at me with pale expressions at the fact that I'm willing to pick a fight with 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘 over insulting the girls. That's enough, both of you. We all look over to see my mom with her quirk active to prevent any of us from causing any more problems. If you have any issues with each other, Take them up during hero training or after school with a teacher present. I don't want to deal with your petty arguments on my own time. I take a breath to calm down and sit right before my mom starts classes. I didn't like to admit it, but she was right. There's a time and a place for these things, and here isn't the place for this. The hours began to fly by during the morning. Besides the courses in the afternoon, UA is still a school that teaches the basics like math, history, science, etc. Lunch came and went with Ochaco and Kyoka, making me a special lunch for stamina replenishing since my quirk drains it a lot. The taste of everything was amazing. I know I taught Ochaco how to cook, but thanks to Kyoka she got a ton better. I really should make it up to them when I have a chance. Maybe make Ochaco her favorite mochi and Kyoka her favorite dinner. We all are now sitting in the classroom waiting for our heroics instructor to teach us, when we hear a loud shout from the door. I am coming through the door like a normal person. ****, how is that normal? I try and stifle a laugh from All Might's entrance, while everyone else shows excitement for her teaching us. Today I will teach you the basics of heroine and hero training. And today's training will be. All Might puts her hand in a small box and brings up a flashcard. Battle training. Oh yeah, give us battle training since one of us really wants to kill at least 2 people here. Debatable 5 since I have no idea what the other 3's standings are with her. And what heroine or hero would be complete without their costumes. These were made to your specifics as to the costume registry that you all put out before being enrolled here. Now change into them and meet me at ground beta. With that said, I storm into the changing room to beat everyone to change. Once I was out of my uniform, the door opens to a very agitated Kacchan. Deku, it's a pervert. That should be my line. What do you want? Show me your pages. She pushes my head in a locker and reaches for my boxers. Show me your useless PP so I can get this DMN figure out of my head. Wait, what figure? And why is this so important that you're literally forcing me to do this? Just shut up and show me it. I try and stop her from pulling my boxers down, but during the whole ordeal I ended up falling. Once I open my eyes from the fall, I notice Kacchan's but is in front of me. The F is this? I pay attention to the view that I have between her legs and notice she's looking at my lower half. Bakugo, why are you interrupting Aizawa as he is trying to dash? Ida is stopped in her words when she notices what is going on. I see her face go completely red with our classmates looking in and either blushing, drooling, taking pictures, or having nosebleeds from what they see in front of them. You had to be huge, didn't you? I hear Kacchan say this as she is just looking at me and shaking at the sight. Once they noticed what was happening, Kyoka and Ochaco came in and pushed Kacchan off me and covered my lower half. Initiate cavalry hornsmen. Once I was free, they both me to the bathroom and had everyone get changed while I wait there for them to be done. What the actual F was that about? He didn't realize Katsumi was talking about seeing his body during the entrance exams. 23 Once everyone was able to change and leave, I get out and put my costume on as fast as I can. I start running out to the training field, when I hear All Might ask for me. Where is young Aizawa? Sorry I'm late, I had a few issues that held me up. Whoa, you look so cool Deku. You think, Izuku's costume is a sleeveless shirt with baggy jeans made to look similar to Aizawa's costume in canon with an overcoat on and the binding cloth on his wrists instead of around the neck. If I could have found a fan art of him in Aizawa's costume I would have used that, but I couldn't in my search. Hey, doesn't that look like Ms. Aizawa's costume? That's because I based it off of hers. You know, like mother like son. I start to laugh at Ochaco's comment when Kyoka came over. You really have a lot of respect for your mother even though she busts your chops a lot. Pretty much. Almost as much as I do for All Might. I see All Might clench her teeth out of the corner of my eye before Kacchan comes over and grabs the back of my shirt. Listen here beaches, this is mine now. Anyone that I don't like gets within reaching distance of him is gonna get pummeled. Got that? And when did I agree to this? As far as I'm concerned, if ites belonged to anyone it's Ochaco, Kyoka, Yaoyorozu, and Todoroki. What you say? Are you trying to PSS me off now? I honestly think that ship already set sail a long time ago. I look at Kacchan deadpan as she says this / I get grabbed by Ochaco and Kyoka after and have Kacchan look at them with killer intent. You're both dead if I get the chance. Bring it Bakugo, I'm not scared of an angry Pomeranian. Ochaco, I think that went a little too far. She may actually kill us with that comment. Kacchan starts to grab for Ochaco, but I was caught in the middle with Ochaco making karate poses behind me egging her on. All Might, can we get going with the lesson? I don't think waiting any longer for them to cool off will help. Agreed, let's continue. Both step back and wait for All Might to say what's going on. Apparently this is supposed to be a training with 2v2 matchups. One team will be the hero team and the other is the villain team. For the heroes to win, they either need to find and touch a fake bomb in a building within the time or disable the villain team. The villains only have to keep the heroes busy for the time limit without them touching the bomb or disable them. Now without further ado, let's draw lots for who will be on whose team. Once the lots are drawn, I find out that I'm paired with Ochaco. All pairings are the same in canon. We're put together Deku, this'll be fun. Okay, so this might not end badly. Now the first match will be Team A as heroes and Team D as villains. I look over to see Kacchan wickedly smiling from ear to ear that she'll face me and Ochaco. Okay, so this may end badly. Now villains will have 5 minutes to set up the bomb. Once it's up, the heroes will go in. Me and Ochaco wait outside the building before making a plan. Kacchan will most likely go after you for what you did earlier. I'll stall her long enough for you to find Ida before I take her down. If things don't go as planned, think of a way to take down Ida or touch the bomb. Knowing both of them, Ida will focus on protecting it since Kacchan would go off on her own. I start to think of how I should go about stopping Kacchan when Ochaco tugs on my sleeve. I'm sorry about before. I just wanted to stop Bakugo from taking you from us. You mean so much to me and Kyoka that I don't want to think of us not being together. So when you said that you belonged to me and her, it made me really happy that you wanted to be with us. To me, I want to belong to you as well. But only you. Ochaco buries her face in my thigh and wraps around me. I take the moment to pat her head and reassure her. You don't have to worry about me leaving you. Kacchan won't be enough to do that. I'll always be with both you and Kyoka, because I love you both. She looks up to me as I smile and gives me a peck on my lips. Once everything's over, I want you to spend tomorrow doing whatever me and everyone else wants. I nod and put my attention back at the task at hand. We get the all clear to enter the building and make our way in through the second floor. Knowing both, they'll probably keep it somewhere on the upper floors to take our time away. We continue down a corridor before getting stopped by one of Kacchan's blasts. I'll give you 2 options right now, Deku. Either step away from the slot for me to kill her, or don't and go down with her. Heh, what makes you think I'll let you do either? Kacchan charges at me and gives me a right hook. I evade it and wrap my capture gear around her arm to slam her into the wall. Ochaco, go for the bomb. Right? Ochaco runs out before Kacchan uses an explosion to get out of my gear. She comes back for a right jab. I feign it to only be hit by a left uppercut to my jaw. You should have let me kill the beach, would have saved you the trouble. I grab her shirt and throw her across the room to get distance. And I thought you would hit harder than Ochaco, guess I was wrong. Kacchan now storms over to me with explosions going off to increase her speed. I solidify my leg with rock before ducking down and kneeing her through the roof to where the bomb is. The force of the impact made Ida lose balance and create an opening for Ochaco to bind her with capture tape. Ida's taken down Deku. Nice, secure the bomb. I'll keep Kacchan busy. She nods and heads over to the bomb. I'm all charged now. I look over and see Kacchan aiming and about to pull a trigger. Young Bakugo, don't. You may kill someone. They'll be fine as long as they dodge. She pulls the pin and creates a huge explosion. CRP, I can't dodge or Ida and Ochaco will get hit. Just gonna have to brace. I cover my arms in rock and pull back some of the heat with my quirk to try and minimize the damage as much as possible. Boom, the hit nearly pushed me into the wall from the force alone. My forearms were burnt from the attack even with earth covering them. You idiot. You weren't supposed to take dash. I run over with my lightning and knock her out mid-sentence for All Might to announce we've won. Ochaco, Ida, are you girls okay? They both nod at me with no sound. That's go dash. I collapse on the floor from both the strain of my quirk and the attack from earlier. I wake up to the ceiling of a white room and the smell of disinfectants. You're lucky you protected yourself when you did. If you would have taken that head-on, you may not be here right now. I look over to see Recovery Girl writing down a few things before making her way towards me. I suggest not doing that again if I was you. Now go back to class. You gave a few girls quite the scare when you just passed out. Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate your help. I bow and make my way back to the classroom. Once I open the door, I'm mobbed by Ochaco, Yaoyorozu, and Ida. Are you okay? I hold back the pain in me to answer their question. Yeah, it only hurts when people touch my arms right now. They realize that they're hurting me and pull away to give me some space to walk in the classroom. I get in to only be stopped by a redhead, a pink-skinned girl, a frog girl, and a girl with tape rollers on her elbows. Bro, that was so cool. You took her attack and just tanked it like a beast. I'm Ijira Kirishima, by the way. I'm Mina Ishido, and that was totally awesome, Iza. I'm Tsuyu Azui, but please call me Tsu. I'm Hana Siro. It's a pleasure to meet you. I just look at them and lightly smile. It's nice to meet you all too. The end of the day came after an hour, with me and the 4 girls heading home. Deku. I look over to see Kacchin coming over to me. She grabs the back of my shirt and starts dragging me. You're taking me out today? I'd rather take out trash. She only growls at me before shouting. A pretty girl is asking you out and you say no. Are you messed up in the head or something? Are you? She stops talking for me to answer her. Back in our first year of middle school, do you remember the note someone gave you one morning in your locker? The one that some loser couldn't give to me herself. What about it? I clench my fist and shout at her. That loser, as you say, was me. It took me 4 years to say what I wanted to in that letter, and what do? You insult me without knowing it, tear it up, and turn the remnants to ash. I admired and loved you since I was ashamed and hurt beyond belief that you wouldn't even offer a chance to see me that day. But you crossed a line when you said that I had no guts to tell you on my own and that you would have never accepted it since you'll never accept anyone from the school since they weren't equals to you. Well, guess what, Kacchin? You found an equal that hates your guts now. If I had any shred of respect left for you, it's gone now. I only walk away in anger with all the girls following me in silence. Kyoka was the first to speak up. That was just unpleasant to watch. Not that I care for her, but that was just harsh to say the least. Deku, why didn't you say that to me? You could have confided in me before letting it out like this. ****, who really wants to tell someone about the moment your heart gets stepped on and crushed with salt being rubbed in it? I didn't want to say it because it hurt to know that I felt that way for her and was rejected for something so stupid as her own pride and ego. Everyone remained silent afterwards for a few minutes. Guess we all have some pain that we want to get rid of? We all look over to Todoroki in amazement. What? It's just that, this is the first time you're really responding to anything in a full sentence from us? Let's just say, I know how it feels for one to be hurt by a loved one. Todoroki covers her left eye for a second before we make our way home. The rest of the night went silent as we all were uneasy with what was witnessed after school. Ochaco POV, after the argument Deku had with Bakugo yesterday, he's been strangely quiet and withdrawn. Right now, all of us are just watching him from a corner sitting on the couch with the most blank stare on his face that we've ever seen. I've never seen him like this. Uraraka, have you ever known Aizawa to do anything like this? No, this is a first to see him like this too. Seeing him like this was painful. He was so distraught that it just makes me hurt from it. What are you 3 doing? We all look over to see Todoroki coming out of her room and watching us. Izuku's really depressed about yesterday. We're trying to find out what we should do to help him, but we're drawing some blanks. She looks over to see Deku before turning to us. Is it because of what happened yesterday with Bakugo? We all nod at this. Just find someone that can help him understand the pain he's feeling. It's not that strong to understand. We all just look at each other in curiosity who we should contact. Wait, I think I may know someone who can help. We all look at Yaoyorozu and give her a nod to call who she is. Izuku POV, why am I like this? I thought I was over her. Ever since yesterday's little fight with 𝗧𝗏𝗧𝗟𝗓, I've had no longing to do much of anything. Right now, my head is just too jumbled up from mixed emotions of frustration and regret from what I said. Everything in my head is running on overdrive, with the same thought coming across my head. Do I still love her? This kept coming to me over and over again. I thought these feelings were gone for her since I met Ochaco and Kyoka. But maybe they're not. Maybe the feelings I have for them was just a coding for how I really feel for 𝗧𝗏𝗧𝗟𝗓. This is so confusing. If only I could just get rid of these feelings altogether to stop this inner turmoil. I just lay my head back on the couch and try to wrap my head around them as best I could before I see her again. Aizawa, I'm meeting a friend of mine in about an hour. Would you like to come along? I look over to see Yaoyorozu smiling at me. Grown, I really don't want to get up, but it may help take my mind off of my personal issue. I guess, I'm not really doing anything special today. Great, well leave here once you're ready. She heads off to her room, while I slowly get up to head to my own. A friend of Yaoyorozu's, I wonder what they're like. I head into my room and grab some clothes before taking a shower. I decided to wear some baggy jeans with a hoodie to cover my face to avoid some awkward stares. Once I'm done, I head downstairs to see Yaoyorozu in a frilly button-down shirt and some white jeans that emphasize her feminine physique. Ready? I guess. We're not going anywhere fancy, right? Oh no, it's just a coffee shop that my friend likes to visit a lot. We head out the door with me feeling a little better that I won't stick out as much as I already do. We take a minute walk to a nice small little shop that gave a little bit of a relaxed feel to it. Hey Yamamoto. I look over to see a girl with orange hair in a ponytail walk up. Kendo, it's good to see you. Yaoyorozu walks over and hugs her with both smiling. Yamamoto. Oh, I hope you don't mind that I brought my friend with me today. The girl that I now know as Kendo motions to a girl beside her with what looked like vines growing out of her head. She seemed like she really wasn't all that caring for being here. Why don't we head in and introduce ourselves after ordering? We all agree with Yaoyorozu's idea and head into the shop. We find a booth and all sit down with me sitting beside the vine girl, and Kendo and Yaoyorozu sitting together across from us. Sorry about not saying who I was earlier. My name is Itsuka Kendo, and I'm sure you already know that me and Yamamoto are old friends. I am Ibara Shizuki. It is nice to meet the both of you. I smile under my hoodie and begin to introduce myself. Nice to meet you too. My name's Izuku Aizawa. Both look at me with amazement. Wait, you mean the guy with the quirk? The one in the same. Both start to look at me with a bit of seriousness to them. Why you wearing a hoodie then? I get a lot of stares when I go outside, so I try and avoid that by making it look like I'm just some random person with a hoodie on. Kendo accepts this and stops glaring at me, but Shiozaki was still glaring at me like I was doing something wrong. Guests, your order's ready. That's us. I'll go and get it while you three stay and talk. Yaoyorozu leaves to get our orders with the three of us having the most awkward moment of our lives. Shiozaki. Can you please stop staring at me like that? It's a bit uncomfortable. Shiozaki realizes what she's doing and immediately stops. I'm sorry, it's just that I've never seen a boy before. I did not mean to cause you discomfort. It's okay, you wouldn't be the first to do that, nor will you most likely be the last. I smile to keep her from feeling as bad. So Yamamoto told me you had some girl troubles. I turned to Kendo and started to get a little depressed about it. I nod to agree with her. I may not be able to fix it, but maybe getting someone outside your circle may help you a little. I take her offer and start to speak up. So well, you see, a while back I had this thing for this girl that I grew up with. To me, she was one of the most amazing people I could ever meet. She never backed down from anything or anyone. She was literally a prodigy in the best way to explain it. So what did you do? Almost 3 years ago when we were first years in middle school, I wrote her a letter to confess my feelings to her. What did she say when she read it? She never did. She literally saw that it was a love letter and ripped it up on the spot. To add insult to injury, she turned it to cinders with her quirk and said that she would have denied the person even if she would have read it. Both Kendo and Shiozaki looked at me in amazement that someone did this. I went home that day completely distraught that I laid everything out on the line like that and wasn't even given the chance to tell her my feelings myself. What did you do after that? I start to clench my fist in frustration. I realized that she would never love me as I was. So I decided to push myself deeper into my dream to be a hero to prove to myself that I was over her. But deep down I still cared for her. I knew she was never going to be mine, but I still held on to that belief somewhere. Once I found the girls though, that feeling eventually went away though. But yesterday she tried to force me on a date, and I just went off and told her what I really felt. For the longest time, I held these words back out of fear for what will happen. But now that they're said, I don't know what to do. These feelings found their way back to the surface, and now I'm so confused because of them. I'm scared I'm gonna make a mistake the next time I see her, and do something that I'll regret later. I just wish I could get rid of these feelings for her. But I don't know how. Kendo waits a moment before saying anything. Can you say wholeheartedly that you love her? I don't know. Can you say wholeheartedly that you love Yamamo and the other girls that you mentioned? I just want to make them happy. I think I get what it is now. What you're dealing with is first love pains. I don't know of it personally, but it happens when you are faced with your first love in a situation where you can have a relationship with them after making a relationship. Because of this, you're in a personal turmoil with yourself on what to do next. It all comes down to you wanting to give your heart to the person, but scared they're going to do the same thing they did to you before again to break it. **, maybe you're right, but what should I do? That's not my decision to make, it's yours. If wanting to make your girlfriends happy is what you really want, then do what will keep them happy. Whether that means accepting the girl or not is beyond me, but don't make the decision and ruin what you have with everyone else. It's just not worth it. *inhale*, love isn't easy, is it? It rarely ever is. I personally have a thing for this person that saved someone from a sludge villain about months ago, and would do anything to help him. I look at her a bit confused for a second. Wait, do you mean? I wanted to help you and learn a little about you. Yamamo and me saw you on TV, and let's just say that we both were amazed at your heroism before your quirk even activated. I wanted to meet you, but I never knew how. But Yamamo was able to ask her mother to make her a part of your harem. She promised she'd introduce me to you at a later date, and here we are. I was a little amazed at this. Wait, then why did you bring Shiozaki along? She's kinda in the same boat. The way you ran in with only the concern of the girl made my heart stop. Once I saw the villain try and attack, everything started to go slow for me. But all that stopped the second I saw you activate your quirk. I was mixed with both joy and amazement that you were safe and able to save the girl. I knew at that moment that if I could meet you in person, I would give you my everything just to spend any amount of time with you. That's really, that's quite, sorry I can't put it into words other than wow. To think, 2 pretty girls were willing to help me and listen to my problems just to spend time with me. I'm a little touched. Here you go everyone. Yaoyorozu came back with everyone's drinks before the woman on the stage spoke into the microphone. Alright everybody, we have a special request performance by a friend of Ms. Yaoyorozu here. So let's give it up for Aizawa. Wait, what did she say? Yaoyorozu starts to chuckle a bit. I kinda went and asked them if you could sing for everyone. I never heard you, but 𝗔𝗧𝗧𝗟𝗘 and Uraraka said that you were amazing. Please do it for us. She starts giving me puppy dog eyes to make me say yes. Fine, but I don't have a guitar on me. Allow me. Yaoyorozu creates a guitar out of her body and gives it to me. I take the guitar and head up to the stage. This song has been playing in my mind all day. I've kinda been hung up on something until a few minutes ago. Thanks to the 3 ladies back there, I think my head is pretty clear now. So this song is going to be the last bit of thought on the person that made me so hung up in the first place. Hope you enjoy. I began to play with only the thoughts of Kachan's treatment of me over the years playing in my head. Every hit, every burn, every bruise, it all just fueled my emotions in it. Once I stopped, there was a bit of silence in the shop before everyone started to clap and cheer. I bow and head back to everyone. That was amazing, Uraraka and 𝗔𝗧𝗧𝗟𝗘 were right. That was awesome man. Indeed, I truly could feel what you were going through with that song. Thanks, I guess I finally got everything out of me with that. I begin to smile nervously at their cheering before we finished our drinks. Once we left, I thought about offering them a chance to meet everyone else. If you two want, we can hang out a bit at my house. There's a lot of room there since we did some remodeling a while back, and I'm sure everyone else would like to meet the both of you. Both smile and nod before we make our way back to the house. Rebecca. Meow. Hey Yami, did you come to welcome me back? I bend down to pet Yami before we hear footsteps coming into the hallway. Welcome back 𝗧𝗜𝗧𝗟𝗘. I look up and go completely red. Why are you both wearing maid outfits? This was Yaoyorozu's idea. I didn't want to but she said she wanted us to act like nothing was wrong. I don't know Kyoka, I kinda like it. Makes me feel like we're personally here to help our 𝗧𝗜𝗧𝗟𝗘. I was completely stunned by their choice of outfits. Sure, they were CC and cute before, but something about the maid outfits made me feel a little bit of a personal tingle about it. I chose to not do it. Todoroki states this as she's coming in with a glass of water and dropping ice in it with her quirk. Fine by me, you did help us with telling us how to help Aizawa in the first place. It wasn't because I wanted to, you all wouldn't stop saying on how depressed he was. Todoroki goes a little red and hides her head in bashfulness to this comment. I begin to smile, knowing that everyone was willing to put so much effort into making me happy. I go up to Kyoka and Ochaco, and give them both on their lips as a thank you. Todoroki, I appreciate that you were willing to help me. If I could make it up to you in any way, just say the word. I smile at her and make her turn red before she speaks. Soba. Tonight, let's have soba noodles for dinner. Then we'll be even. Right? I turn over to Yaoyorozu to thank her as well. Thank you too, Yaoyorozu. If I can repay you for helping me in any way, please say it. If you wouldn't mind, could we just use each other's first names when addressing each other from now on? I smile at her before answering. She starts to go a bit red when I call her by her first name. So late introductions, my name's Itsuka Kendo. You can just call me Itsuka if you want. I am Ibara Shiozaki. If it wouldn't be so difficult, could you just use my last name for now? I don't exactly know you enough yet to be so content with you using my first name. Nice to meet you both, I'm Ochaco Uraraka, and this is Kyoka Jiro, and Shudo Todoroki is over there. We all started to have introductions done before we went to the living room and turned on something to watch. We decided to just watch some old-school cartoons to pass some time before lunch. After about a few minutes, Shiozaki decided to ask me something. Aizawa, is it difficult for you to live here with so many women? It has its awkward moments, but nothing too intense. What? Well, I was wondering, would you mind it if I came and lived with you all as well? We all stopped and looked at her for a second to make sure she was serious. Dang it, Shiozaki, you beat me to the punch. I start to go wide-eyed at Kendo's comment. Wait, you both want to join my HR? Both nod at me and make me a little embarrassed that this is happening. I'm fine with it, but I need to ask everyone else, since this affects them too. I'm fine with it. They seem like nice people. Same here, I don't mind. I wouldn't mind either. It also would be nice to see Kendo more often from now on. We all now look at Todoroki for her answer. What? Everyone gets to voice their opinion on this, Todoroki. This affects everyone, not just some. **** whatever, I really don't care for it. She ignores us and turns back to the TV after saying this. Guess there's your answer, you're free to join if you want. But I just have to run this over with my mom before anything else so she doesn't get mad at me for making decisions like these behind her back. This is her house after all. Both start to smile before Kendo grabs my head and gives me an embrace on my lips. WWW. Sorry, I couldn't resist. Guess we're even now, Shiozaki. With that said, Shiozaki comes up and does the same. Now we are. Both smile at what they just did with me, completely red from it. Meanwhile, everyone else but Todoroki are laughing at my reaction. These girls are gonna make me go crazy, aren't they? Once I regain my composure, I decide to get the better of Ochaco, Kyoka, and Momo by giving them a few surprises of my own. Once we all had our laughs, we decided to make some lunch and hang out on the couch and talk about some of our interests and hobbies. When dinner came, Kept my word to Todoroki and made some soba with some other things on the side for some more nutrition for everyone. I'm home. We hear Mom open the door and come into the image of all of us eating at the table. Seems you've been busy today. She smirks at this while motioning to Kendo and Shiozaki sitting in front of her. Guess I should expect 2 more vacant rooms to be filled. You mind passing me a plate, Izuku? Sure. Guess there's your answer, you too. I give her a plate before she starts grabbing from the soba and starts to eat. So, are you no longer a moody teen, or is this just you putting an act on? I actually got what I needed out of my system today. That's good. I hate to see you depressed. You're a lot better to be around when you're not a sourpuss. Like you're one to talk, Mom. Aren't you always one? Hey, I'm a crankpot. Get it right. We all start to laugh at this before finishing dinner. Once everything was clear, we said our goodbyes to Kendo and Shiozaki until tomorrow. You know you can stay here for the night. We have the blankets and everything. Yeah, but we want to get as much packing done tonight so we can get everything here tomorrow as early as possible. I understand, at least let me escort you home. It's kinda dark out and I don't want you two to get hurt. Both look at each other and accept my offer. We head out and make our way to their homes. Before both of them head inside, however, I share one last embrace goodnight with each of them. Once they're safely inside their houses, I head home and relax for a few minutes in the kitchen while making Yami's food. I am happy you're not depressed over Bakugo. Whatever the girls did to make you get out of that state, I'm happy they did. Mom leans up against a wall and watches me feed Yami. Yeah, I'm happy they did as well. I smile slightly knowing that I have some amazing people willing to help support me. Hope you all enjoyed this chapter. This was a little more fluff since I kinda wrote myself in a corner from the last one. But I was able to write myself into something I can do a little more with. Tell me what you all think about Kendo and Shiozaki being the next members of the HM. Next Lemon though will definitely have Yaoyorozu in it though. Also, I'm not going to make Katsumi part of the HM. At least not until much later. I have some plans that force her to not be with Izuku yet in the future for them to work. But anyway, thanks for reading. Izuku POV. I wake up and feel myself unable to get out of bed. I look to my sides and notice that Ochaco is on my left and Momo's on my right. I look on my 𝗔𝗧𝗟𝗘 to see that Kyoka is occupying there. Why am I not surprised? Come to think of it, how is this bed still holding with people? Construction workers reinforced his bed and forgot to tell them. It can hold up to people besides Izuku and not break. Izuku, Kendo and Shiozaki said their almost dash. Mom comes in and notices the little position. She only gives a blank stare before commenting. This isn't the worst thing I've walked in on. Not the best, but at least they're close. I'll see you downstairs when you're free. With that she shuts the door and leaves me to what I'm stuck in. Okay, so how do I get up without waking anyone? Morning, Deku. I look over to my left and see Ochaco awake with a smile on her face. Morning. So when did you all get in my bedroom? Last night after you went to sleep. Originally it was just me and Kyoka, but Momo wanted to join as well. After her name was mentioned, Momo started to wake up and pull my head into her such a warm body pillow. She starts to talk in her half-asleep state before realizing what she's doing. Why do I feel hair on the body pill dash? She looks down and goes completely red. She immediately pulls her arms away and accidentally falls off the bed from her sudden movements. You okay? I'm okay, just was a little startled by that. Why is everyone so loud in the morning? Kyoka begins to wake up after hearing everyone's loud commotion. She looks over and sees Momo in the floor. She ignores this and hugs my body while burrowing her face in my more minutes. Sorry to burst your bubble, Kyoka, but I need to get up. She starts to pout before reluctantly letting go of me. I grab a spare set of clothes and make my way into the bathroom to change and get ready for the day. About 1 hour later I get out of my seat to the sound of knocking at the door. I got it. I head over and open the door to the embrace of Kendo and Shiozaki. Hey you two. Did you get all your stuff packed? Yup, and we're ready to move in. They both motion to the movers that are coming with all their belongings. I look down and notice a small carrier with Kendo. What's in the carrier? Oh, sorry, I should have asked before bringing him. I adopted a kitten about 2 weeks back. Do you mind putting him up with me? I look into the small carrier and see a small amber-colored kitten look at me. What's his name? Rusty, since I found him in a box near a junkyard. He had all his shots right. I don't mean to be rude saying this, but I just want to make sure for Yami's sake. Completely up to date as of a few days ago? I just shrug before saying anything. Let's just make sure Yami doesn't have a problem with him. You know, new cat and everything. Don't want to make him get all territorial on him. Understandable. We head in with the movers behind us with everything. I made sure to label the rooms they're staying in to make it easier for you all. Thanks, sir. I tell the head mover this while her and her co-workers take some things to their designated rooms. If you both want, we just started breakfast. I made a bunch, so grab a plate and help yourselves. Both took my advice and grabbed a plate of food to dig into. While we eat, let's see if Yami likes you. Kendo opens the carrier with Yami coming up to it and sniffing it. What's in the crate? Kendo's kitten. She forgot that she adopted it a few weeks back when agreeing to live here, so we're making sure Yami is fine with him before we go any farther. Ochaco nodded after I answered her question. We watched as Rusty came out and started to sniff Yami. Yami immediately grabbed Rusty by his back neck and put him in front of himself. Once there, he put a paw in front and started cleaning Rusty. We all looked at the bonding moment and smiled at them getting along. Well, that answers your question from before. Once we all finished breakfast, I grabbed all the dishes and started to clean them. Mom, are you still free to teach me on the binding cloth today? I made sure that I still had time. From what I saw of your battle the other day, you need all the help you can get. You could just say yes. Me and Mom head outside to prepare to train. All the girls watched as I tried to fight Mom with my binding cloth alone. After an hour of training, I somehow managed to get myself trapped in my own binding cloth. A little help please. Snort the world's mightiest man, trapped in his own weapon. Yahaha, very funny. Now can I please get some help, I'm really stuck. Not yet, this is payback for all those diapers that I had to change with you growing up. Anybody got a marker? Kyoka tosses a marker at Mom, who starts drawing a mustache on me and some other funny things on me. Alright, now time for a little photo op. I swear to you that if they're found around the school, I will rip your sleeping bag into pieces when I get a hold of it. After my little humiliating showing of my skill with the binding cloth, we all head inside to watch a little TV. When an hour passes, Ochaco gets in front of everyone with Kyoka and Momo to the side of her. So we were talking about it last night, and we think we should start putting some ground rules about our relationship with Deku. Everyone starts paying attention to her after this little announcement. We were thinking that the best course of action we should do is to give everyone a scheduled day of the week to spend with Deku. From Monday to Saturday, each of us will get a scheduled day to do what we wish with him. On days where it isn't our day, we can't hog, date, or do certain personal things without the consent of the person whose day it is. Sundays will be Deku's day to rest or do anything with who he pleases to.